the maximum level expert. She thrives in Interstellar riches. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1026. Someone is exposing the truth. 1. The little sheep who plants melons. Good evening, my dears. I wonder if you have eaten the melon of Gongzi Farke. This melon was not originally a big melon worth eating. After all, it is very common to fake a person's image. But such a small melon has stirred up 1,000 waves. First, there was the new star in the star entertainment circle, Zhuang Rudy, who used the only opportunity to contact the outside world in the wilderness survival variety show to clarify and speak out for Gongzi Farke. The little princess of Yunhei planet followed closely, not to be outdone. Not to mention posting a long article for Gongzi Farke on her own star blog. She also frequently commented on various topics related to Gongzi Farke, completely disregarding her own image and confronting netizens who spoke ill of her. Then 2 children from noble families from the imperial capital Star spoke out. They both said that they were loyal fans of Gongzi Farke and would always support Gongzi Farke. Do you think this is the end, little darlings? Half an hour before Little Sheep posted this blog, Mr. Miu, a former colonel of the 1st Military Region, also posted a blog to support Gongzi Farke. However, a few minutes ago, General Mengwan Rao of the 1st Military Region also posted a blog to express her attitude and said that if Gongzi Farke needs to appeal, Ms. Ming will hire the most professional team for Gongzi Farke. Little Sheep was stunned when she saw the blog. I really don't know what the background of Gongzi Farke is that has attracted so many celebrities to speak out. Have a bowl of braised pork. I feel like I wasted my precious 3 minutes. I thought I could eat different melons, but in the end, I kept eating the same melons. Green leaves. I don't think Little Sheep can be blamed for this. The Gongzi Farke incident has been going on for a few days, but no one has dug out the real information about Gongzi Farke, and even which planet it is from. Can you guys give me some help? Can you give me some explosive information? Lonely Cloud. There was a revelation in the star blog posted by Little White Rabbit before. It is said that someone who knows Gongzi Farke submitted the post, saying that Gongzi Farke is from a low-level planet and that Gongzi Farke is a miner. Unfortunately, before I had time to finish reading it, the star blog was officially harmonized. Runaway Princess. Damn. I surfed the star blog 24 hours a day. Why didn't I see the star blog? But to be honest, isn't this revelation a bit too fake? Even if Gongzi Farke is not a dwarf, he can't be a miner. Catmin77. I agree with the above point of view. I believe that Sister Farke is from a low-level planet, because the equipment she used for live broadcasts before was very backward, and it was obvious that people from low-level planets would use it. And there is not even a smart robot in the kitchen, so I think Sister Farke must be living on a low-level planet. Give me a pot of wine. I have also seen the post by Chigwazaobe too. It is too fake to say that Sister Farke is a miner. Which miner does not study hard and do live broadcasting? Dangerous you. I just saw someone breaking the news again, saying that Gongzi Farke is still a student. This is really outrageous. Anyway, I don't believe it. Crying Cat Head 233. Although, does this kind of news count as a disclosure of privacy? It is illegal, right? Meow Jelly. Gongzi Farke is a public figure. It's nothing to let his real information know. Besides, it's not us who broke the news. Whoever breaks the news will take the blame. At the same time, the forum of 3047 Academy is also discussing it in full swing. A little Sakura. Have you guys seen the hot searches on Zingbo? I remember someone posted on the college forum before, saying that Gongzi Farke on Bakaliv was from Chef. Should we post on Zingbo to help Chef? 10 miles of joy. I saw it. But I didn't know Gongzi Farke was actually a student of our 3047 college. When I think about how I missed Chef's time working in the cafeteria, I burst into tears. The handsome and charming brother Peo, we have to help. Don't forget how good Chef is to us. If it weren't for Chef giving us the exclusive benefits for students of 3047 college, I wouldn't have been able to snatch those hungry customers. When will the holiday come? Don't say it. I'm craving Teo Iao's mung bean cakes and peach blossom cakes. I hope my mom can bring me 2 boxes when she comes to the college this weekend. Can I say that I ate a box of peach blossom cake every day during the summer vacation, which caused me to lose weight and cry like crazy? But if I were given another chance, I would still choose to eat like crazy. What are you doing at Jiu? Although I also go to Teo Iao to buy desserts every day, I didn't gain weight during the entire summer vacation. Instead, I lost about 6 or 7 pounds. Why are you yelling so loudly? The above Jiu. Don't think I don't recognize you, just because you are wearing a vest. You accept Teo Iao's purchase orders on Xingbo every day. It would be strange if you don't lose weight. Flying dragon in the sky, ahem. Classmates, are you off topic? What we should discuss is how to help the chef classmate, not how delicious and difficult to buy Teo Iao's desserts are. The handsome and charming Payojet, brother Long is right. So are there any smart classmates who can come up with a plan? It's okay for a poor student like me to help do things, but forget it if you want me to think of a solution. Long road. Does anyone know who is leaking information on Xingbo? When I was browsing Xingbo yesterday, no one knew the real information of the chef classmate. Then when I clicked on the hot search topic of Gong Zifake today, I found that all the Xingbo were discussing whether Gong Zifake was a minor. Failed. I wanted to say that too. I just saw a Xingbo post that directly stated that Gong Zifake was a student of 3047 college, but it was deleted in seconds. Poetic and picturesque. Do the students above remember the name of the account that posted on Xingbo? If you have a screenshot, that would be even better. Please send me a private message. Thank you. I give up. Who is the one who leaked Jiu's information on Xingbo? Kyoshi angrily browsed the posts on the college forum. I must find this troublemaker. Hearing this, Zikingai also said angrily, this kind of person should be sent to your real star. He was bored during the pharmacy class today and clicked on Xingbo to find out that someone was leaking information, and it was all kinds of real information about Wen Jiu. He was so angry that he almost ran away during class. Fortunately, the enthusiastic classmate next to him reminded him, which saved him from being punished by teacher Yan. Then he quickly found Kyoshi after class, and the two of them stayed in the study room during lunchtime, seriously analyzing who was causing trouble. Chapter 1027. Someone is exposing the truth too. This person must be from 3047 college, Kyoshi said, while scrolling through the posts. Jiu's interpersonal relationships in real life have always been simple, and not many people know Jiu's information on StarNet. First of all, Bikalev will definitely not take the initiative to expose the information. Jiu is now one of the pillars of Bikalev, and exposing the information will not benefit Bikalev at all. The second is Mr. Ming from Wuiao Food. Mr. Ming and Jiu are in a cooperative relationship, and it is impossible for him to expose the information. In addition, it seems that no one on StarNet knows Jiu's real information. The person who exposed the information is most likely someone in real life. Hearing this, Zikingai said with an agreeing face, that's right. Sister Jiu rarely reveals real information on StarNet. He also thought that it was someone in real life who exposed the information, but he really couldn't think of who did it. Although Wen Jiu's interpersonal relationships in real life are also quite simple, the number of people involved is much larger than that on StarNet. Let's take 3047 college as an example. There are thousands of students in the same class as Wen Jiu. Among them, at least 60% knew that Wen Jiu meant congratulations and prosperity, if not 80%. So it was really difficult to select them. As for Jiu's interpersonal relationships in real life, she rarely comes into contact with people from the outside world. Kyoshi analyzed calmly. She did not let the difficulties disturb her thoughts. Most of the people she knows are from the 3047 college. That's why I think the person who broke the news is in the college. After she finished speaking, Zikingai on the side supported her chin with one hand and said, Sister Jiu also knows people outside the college. Should we exclude these people directly? Those people outside the college, I really can't think of their motives for breaking the news. She explained calmly for the other party. Take your brother for example. Is it necessary for him to break the news? And the group of people led by Grandma Zhao who are in charge of the stray animal shelter, they have no reason to go to Xingbo to break Jiu's news. Besides, Grandma Zhao and her group don't know that Jiu means Gongzi Fa. And other people outside the college who know the truth have no reason to break Jiu's news. So the person who broke the news is most likely from within the college. After she finished speaking, Ziqingyu fell into deep thought. After all, there are too many students in the academy, and someone posted a message on the forum saying that it was Wen Jiu who made the post. So many people knew about this, which made it difficult for them to find the person who broke the news in a short time. Alas, we are still too weak. It would be great if we could check the background. Ziqingyu sighed heavily as she thought about it. Hearing this, she shrugged helplessly. You have to check the background of Xinguang. It's useless to just check the background of the academy forum. She had thought about going to the teacher before and finding a reason to check the background of the academy forum. However, the person who broke the news used Xingbo to break the news, so if she wanted to check, she could only check the background of Xinguang. It's a pity that she doesn't have that much ability at the moment. But she is not a person who will give up easily, and she doesn't want her friends to be hurt. So she reached out and patted Ziqingyu on the shoulder. Don't be discouraged, Xiao Banli. I have sent private messages to several classmates who have seen the whistleblower on Xingbo. If they can provide the whistleblower's Xingbo homepage, then we can continue to investigate along these clues. With her comfort, the other party quickly adjusted his state. So the two of them clicked on their respective light screen panels and continued to look for the whistleblower's information. Facts have proved that Kyoshish's analysis is not wrong at all. Because the person who broke the news on Xingbo is indeed a student of 3047 college. It's just that this person has not appeared for a long time, so they didn't remember for a while that there is such a person. When you first arrive, you put on a mask of pain. Gongzi Fake's character is FAKE-GONGZ Fake's dwarf. If the official has the guts, just keep deleting my blog. I must reveal Gongzi Fake's true identity. She is not a widowed middle-aged woman with 2 children. She is a student from 3047 Academy on planet 3047, and she is a poor ghost who can't even pay the tuition. When you first arrive, you put on a mask of pain. Gongzi Fake's character is FAKE-SNOWFLAKE CRISPSUSOUTSHEVERYONE. Look, Gongzi Fake is just a minor. All the characters she set up before are fake. And she also bullies classmates in the academy. If you want to know the details, you can pay attention to my blog. At 8 o'clock in the evening at the federal headquarters time, I will open a live broadcast on the blog to reveal more information about Gongzi Fake. Shi Gang typed the information with a ferocious look, which made Li Shan'an on the side very entangled. He really didn't want to help Shi Gang expose Wen Jiu's information, but the other party had his handle in his hand. If he didn't help, he would have a hard time staying in the 3047 Academy. But he really didn't want to do bad things anymore. He just wanted to finish his studies seriously, wait for 2 years to pass the assessment, and enter the military region, find an ordinary job, and live a stable life. So he was very entangled for a while, and didn't know what to do. What are you still standing there for? Go to post on Xingbo. Shi Gang suddenly looked at him coldly. I want everyone to know the true face of Wen Jiu. A poor person like her is not even worthy of carrying my shoes. How can she become a big anchor and make a lot of money, and how can she live a better and happier life than me? He could have lived happily in the 3047 Academy until graduation, and then used his family's relationship to fool the graduation exam and directly enter the 11th military region to get a leisurely job and live a leisurely life. It can be said that there is no need to worry about his future. He will live the kind of life that everyone envies. Until the appearance of Wen Jiu, a poor person, his beautiful life was completely ruined. It's okay for the other party to break the rules and fight back against him, but he even embarrassed him in front of his classmates. Later, his family was dismissed by Dean Huang, and his original happy days turned into bubbles in an instant. It disappeared at the touch. He was originally a poor student and relied on his family's relationship to bully others in the 3047 Academy. After his family was dismissed by Dean Huang, he lost this big backer. Those students who were bullied by him before took the opportunity to retaliate against him, making him miserable every day. It's all Wen Jiu. It's all because of her. Shi Gang said sinisterly while typing Xingbo. If she hadn't complained to Dean Huang, how could my family be dismissed? And how could I be reduced to being bullied by a bunch of trash all day long? Chapter 1028 Joint Death 1. Hearing this, Li Shannan could only frown and whisper yes, but he actually did not agree with Shi Gang's idea. Since Shi Gang lost the protection of his family, his situation has plummeted. Those students who were bullied by Shi Gang in the past began to think of ways to retaliate in various ways, and the other party deserved it. And his current situation is not much better. Who made him always want to cling to Shi Gang's thighs before? The other party has no backers, and he has no backers either, so he has been bullied a lot during this period. But he never thought of blaming all this on Wen Jiu. He just regretted that he was ignorant and made too many mistakes at the beginning. If you stand there and don't help, I will post your story on the college forum, and then I will see how you can survive in the college. Shi Gang urged again. He has registered 4 or 5 accounts himself, but all these accounts have been blocked by the official, so he will pull Li Shannan over to make trouble together. The account he is using now is a small one bought from the Star Network. He will drag Wen Jiu down with him even if he dies. He just can't bear to see Wen Jiu live better than him. He was clearly a poor guy who couldn't even pay the tuition fees at the beginning. Why should he live a good life by climbing over his head? Just when you put on the mask of pain, Gongzi Farke's character is FAKE-GONGZ Farke Dwarf. If the official has the guts, continue to delete my star blog. I must reveal Gongzi Farke's true face. She is not a middle-aged widowed woman with 2 children. She is a student from the 3047 Academy on the 3047 planet, and she is a poor guy who can't even pay the tuition fees. Dog head puppy head. Is what the blogger said true? Gongzi Farke is actually a minor? Why don't I believe it? When will the old friend return? I remember that the planets numbered with numbers are all low-level planets, so Gongzi Farke is actually from a low-level planet. Beauty is speechless. May I ask, if you are a black fan of Gongzi Farke, aren't you afraid that the official Xingbo will come to your door if you expose false information? If what you expose is true, then you should be more careful. It is illegal to spread malicious information about others on the Xinguang. Man like the wind. Mask brother, stop it. Have you opened 4 or 5 accounts to expose information? I have seen this content at least 17 or 18 times, and it is all the same. Don't miss it. If you pass by, I think no matter whether the information exposed by the blogger is true or not, the content alone can show that the blogger has great malice. Falling in your heart, I think so too. Although I don't like Sister Farke very much, I think she is just a white lotus, but the words used by the blogger are too vicious. Shi Gang thought that after he posted these star blogs, there would be many people who hated Wen Jiu to agree with him, but he didn't expect that the people commenting below were either diehard fans of Wen Jiu or passers-by who were neutral. The key point was that these people did not attack Gongzi Farke, but instead accused him of being wrong. Damn. A bunch of idiots. The more he read these comments, the angrier he became, so he posted a few more star blogs. You put on the mask of pain when you just arrived. Gongzi Farke is a poor guy who can't afford the tuition in real life. I'm not wrong about that. As long as you ask the students of 3047 college, you will know the truth. You put on the mask of pain when you just arrived. Moreover, Gongzi Farke doesn't have 2 children at all. Those 2 little cats are actually her good friends. Why do you want to protect such a liar? Besides, Gongzi Farke bullies his classmates in the college. One of his classmates almost dropped out because of her bullying. You put on the mask of pain when you just arrived. I can guarantee that every word of these star blogs I posted is true. If there is any false, I will immediately travel to your real star. Don't be fooled by the personality that Gongzi Farke set up in the live broadcast. She is just a very shameless and shameless person. She also sells junk food to the classmates around her. After eating it, Several classmates I know had diarrhea and were sent to the medical cabin. This time, after Shi Gang posted the star blog, fewer people accused him. But most people didn't completely believe his words. They were just discussing whether Gong Zifa was such a person. Spreading wings and flying bird. The blogger actually knows so much real information. The blogger can't really know Gong Zifa. Pumpkin Dagwanan. He said he knows him. Does that mean he knows him? Then I can also say that I know Gong Zifa. Gong Zifa lives next door to my house and invites me to her house for dinner every day. Really, who doesn't dream? Did Sister Baylion quit the live broadcast today? Sister Pumpkin, don't be so anxious to explain. Are you the king of haste? Everyone knows that you are a loyal fan of Gong Zifa. I eat Miruko. I'm a pure passer. This blogger dares to swear by your real star, which means that Gong Zifa is very likely what he said. Not only is he a minor citizen who sets up a persona online to deceive people, but he also sells junk food to his classmates in real life to bully them. Galaxy sweetheart, the little Miruko in front should also be restrained. The content of Yin Yang Far KG on your homepage has not been completely deleted, and you have the nerve to claim to be a pure passer here. Do you think everyone is blind like you? Deep Sea Lamb who wants to fly. Blogger, are you keeping this melon ripe? No one has been able to dig out the real information of Gong Zifa before, and you are exposing all kinds of explosive materials. You made me not dare to eat this melon for a while. Shi Gang looked at these comments and his mood instantly improved a lot. Although there are not many people who speak for him now, the wind direction is gradually leaning towards him. So generally speaking, it is worth being happy. Just when he wanted to continue to post a few more star blogs, he suddenly received a private message from a stranger. Sweet and invincible. Hello brother, are all the star blogs you posted about Gong Zifa true? He received many star blog comments, but this was the first time he received a private message. So after thinking for a moment, he replied with a smile. Just until you put on the mask of pain. Of course it's all true. If there is false information, I will buy a starship ticket and go to your real star to surrender. He had just sent this message, and the man sent him another message. Sweet and invincible, I see that you seem to have an inexplicable hatred with Gong Zifa. Coincidentally, Gong Zifa and I also have an inexplicable hatred. Why don't we join forces and maximize our strength? Chapter 1029 Joint Death 2. Shi Gang became excited as soon as he saw this private message, because he wanted to get more people to expose the evil things Wen Jiu had done. It was a pity that Wen Jiu had not been in 3047 college for a long time, and there were not many classmates who had enemies with him except him. He did find Zao Sanma and others who had previously had a grudge against him, but that group of people were so timid that they refused to even see him. As for the few younger brothers who followed him in the past, they perfectly demonstrated what it means to be scattered when the tree falls. It was also because of this that he would finally Shannon, a useless thing, to make up the numbers. So when he saw someone willing to join his camp, his depressed mood instantly became high. However, in addition to being excited, he still thought about it seriously before applying. Just when you put on the mask of pain, brother, what is the grudge between you and Gong Zifa? Tell me first, don't come to fish for me. Shi Gang had read the 3047 college forum, so he knew that many people were looking for people to expose information. Although he was confident that his classmates would not find out, he still had to be careful to hide his vest. After all, what he was doing now was really unethical, and the most important thing was that it might violate federal law, so he didn't want to reveal his identity at all. Sweet and invincible, you know Leo ZHU, right? I'm Leo ZHU's diehard fan. Gong Zifa forced Leo ZHU to leave the live broadcast industry, and this matter has always been a thorn in my heart. Sweet and invincible, so I have been working hard to collect Gong Zifa's dirty laundry and strive to avenge my Leo ZHU one day. I saw that when you posted on Zingbo, you brought up the topic. Gong Zifa's person setting is FAKE-ash. If you click on it and look at the top, you can see that the initiator of this topic is me. Li Yaokei has been in society for many years, and he founded a company that cultivates anchors and internet celebrities, so his experience is much richer than Shigang. Although he wants to gain trust and reach a cooperation, he will not be stupid enough to reveal his identity. So he used Leo Zhu's diehard fan as an excuse, which can both gain trust and conceal his identity. It can be said that it is killing two birds with one stone. Old Xiang, did you see that? His bloodshot eyes revealed a hint of sarcasm. I knew that Gong Zifake was not impeccable. As long as we get something out of this person's mouth, we can completely defeat Gong Zifake, and we don't have to worry about being held accountable by those big guys. Hearing this, Xiang took a sip of tea before saying, aren't you afraid that this person is a liar? There are many people on Xingbo who hate Gong Zifake. It is very likely that this kind of person made up the information. He sneered when he heard this. Liar, you and I have been doing marketing and making information for many years. Which liar do you think can make up such detailed information? His working career for so many years was not in vain. He could tell at a glance that the person who broke the news on Xingbo was indeed someone who knew Gong Zifake in real life. Of course, he didn't completely believe what the other party said. If Gong Zifake was really a complete villain, then the negative information about him would have been flying all over the sky. But this was not important to him, because he only wanted to find negative information about Gong Zifake. As for whether it is true or not, he doesn't care. Just put on the mask of pain. Okay, then what do you need me to do? Just put on the mask of pain. I won't do anything to expose my identity. I don't want to be pushed to the forefront. Shigang first clicked on the topic of Gong Zifake's personality is fake, and then clicked on the Xingbo homepage of this person named Shan Miwudi. After seeing those symbols accusing Gong Zifake, the big stone hanging in his heart fell. Sure enough, there are many people who hate Wen Jiu, and he is not the outlier. So he immediately became enthusiastic and began to ask what he should do. Shan Miwudi, tell us everything you know about Gong Zifake. I know a lot of old pig fans who also hate Gong Zifake. After you post it, we will screen and organize it and post it on Xingbo. And you only need to be a witness to prove that what we post is true, and you don't have to do the rest. Li Yaokei couldn't reveal his true identity, nor could he say that he would, by marketing from the water army, so he cleverly changed his words to deal with it. Just when you put on the mask of pain, no problem, but I really didn't expect you pig fans to be so powerful. If I had known, I would have contacted the president of the Leo Zhu fan club. Shigang didn't think too much when he sent this message. He just regretted not asking the pig fans for help earlier. He has now had 4 or 5 accounts blocked by the hateful official. If someone had helped him earlier, he wouldn't have bought a small account. You know, it's not easy to register a Xingbo account, so the price of a small account is generally around a few thousand. If it were in the past, he would have no problem buying more than a dozen accounts. But since his family was dismissed by Dean Huang, his pocket money has been several times less than usual. So when he was looking for someone to buy a Xingbo small account, his heart was aching as the star coins decreased. Fortunately, all this effort was worth it, and he finally got the teammates he wanted. Thinking of this, he glared at Li Shan'an fiercely. You still won't help me post on Starblog, right? Then get out now. I don't need a piece of trash like you to help me. Okay, the other party stood up with a gloomy face. Then I'll go back to my dormitory to rest. Seeing this, he sneered first and then said, you'd better keep your mouth shut, otherwise don't blame me for posting on the forum and telling everyone about your parents. Before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Li Shan'an in a cold voice. Enough. I won't go out and say anything. I hope you can keep your promise, otherwise even if I'm expelled, I will drag you to death with me. After throwing these words, the other party strode out of his dormitory and slammed the door. It was obvious that he was angry. However, Shigang shrugged nonchalantly and continued to communicate with his new teammate. Anyway, he had the handle on Li Shan'an in his hand, so he didn't worry that the other party would tell on him. Unless Li Shan'an wanted to be expelled from the 3047 Academy, he would never be betrayed by the other party. At this time, Li Shan'an's dormitory is on the 4th floor, while Shigang's dormitory is on the 2nd floor. Therefore, if he wants to go back to the dormitory to rest, he has to climb 2 more floors to get to the dormitory. He walked to the stairs in a depressed mood, and just as he stepped on the steps, he suddenly bumped into someone. Because he was listless at the moment, he was knocked to the ground in an instant. Sorry. Classmate, are you okay? Chapter 10:30 Joint Death 3. Zikingayu chatted with Kaioshishi for a long time at noon. Although an enthusiastic classmate sent a private message to them and told them the account of the person who broke the news on Zingbo, they investigated for a long time and found no clues. Because Kaioshishi had classes in the afternoon, she left first, and he returned to the dormitory to rest. At this moment, he estimated that Kaioshishi would soon finish class, so he wanted to go to the training ground in advance to wait for her. When he was walking downstairs and browsing Zingbo, he didn't expect to bump into someone without paying attention. He was so scared that he quickly turned off the light screen panel to apologize to the other party. No, it's okay, Li Shan'an took a breath as soon as he stood up. Seeing this, Zikingayu hurried over to support him. Brother, are you okay? Your elbow is broken, you have to go to the infirmary. Anyway, there was still some time before Kaioshishi finished class. He could send his classmates to the infirmary and then run to the training ground as soon as possible. Moreover, he was not an irresponsible person. Since he had knocked down this classmate and injured him, he would definitely take responsibility to the end. No, I have a repair ointment in my dormitory. Li Shan'an slowed down before looking at the person who was supporting him. You don't know until you see it, and you will be shocked when you see it. If he remembered correctly, the person who was supporting him in front of him seemed to be Wen Jiu's little follower. So he quickly shook off the other's hand and hurriedly ran up. Seeing this, Zikingayu tilted his head in confusion. Why did this classmate run away when he saw him? Was it because his tone of voice was not friendly enough? Although he was a somewhat famous person in the college, he didn't seem to leave any bad impression. It was really strange. However, he still followed the mentality of taking responsibility to the end and climbed several floors at a very fast speed. However, he climbed from the second floor to the top floor and did not find the figure of that classmate. Strange. I won't meet a ghost, right? Zikingayu stood on the top floor with a blank face. If you go up further, you will reach the rooftop. Just as he was struggling over whether to go up, the wisdom ring on his finger suddenly vibrated. Hey, where are you, little chestnut? Kaioshishi's voice suddenly rang out. I'm still in the dormitory. He scratched his head in confusion. Hey, don't you get out of class at 4:30? After saying that, the other party sighed softly, because the training tasks assigned by Teacher Gao are too simple. I finished all the tasks 20 minutes ago, so Teacher Gao saw that I was bored and let me go first. He understood as soon as he heard this, so he temporarily gave up tracking the strange classmate and chose to find Kaioshishi first. Anyway, he had already memorized the appearance of that classmate, and when the time comes, he can just make a missing person notice and post it on the forum. So he trotted downstairs and ran towards the library. The main reason is that there is a study room in the library, so there is no need to worry about being disturbed after entering. Therefore, he and Kaioshishi have met recently in the study room of the library. Hey, Shishi, are you here to study as well? Kaioshishi had just selected an empty study room on the machine when she heard a familiar voice behind her. She looked back and saw Minahan walking towards her with a smile. Yes, Zikingayu and I plan to learn medicine in the study room. Although she had a good relationship with Minahan, she still chose to deal with it with excuses. After she finished speaking, the other party came over with a look of indignation on his face. Shishi, have you seen the new hot posts on the college forum? I really don't know which bad guy is making random revelations on Zingbo, and he even slandered Jiu for bullying classmates and selling junk food. When she heard this, her eyes widened, and then she quickly clicked on the light screen panel. Because she had been training seriously in the afternoon, she had no idea what was going on. She first clicked on the 3047 college forum and saw the hot post ranked first at a glance. Flying dragon in the sky, which bastard is spreading rumors on Zingbo? Do you have any shame to slander your own classmates? Who in 3047 college doesn't know that chef is the most conscientious person? Attached with 9 screenshots of Zingbo, wash, and sleep. Damn, he is so careless. I have never seen chef bully anyone. When I was working part-time at the college express delivery station, chef always came with a smile and greeted us part-time students. A little Sakura, I'm so angry. Can you catch the spy who leaked the information? Don't forget that the reason why our cafeteria food has improved is because chef taught those students how to cook. The handsome and charming Payojet. It's obvious that someone from the academy broke the news. So which wicked idiot did it? AI, hot knowledge. Maliciously spreading rumors about others is a violation of federal law. Even if it's a minor citizen, it's also to blame. So the idiot who broke the news had better come out and clarify as soon as possible. Otherwise he will be awarded a 3-year vacation life on your real star. Kyoshi looked through the 9 screenshots posted by the poster. The more she looked, the angrier she felt, and she wanted to catch the rumor monger and beat him up. I don't know which idiot did it. Minahan was also speaking up for Wen Jiu. It's a pity that we can't find the person just by these screenshots. Hearing this, she shook her head in disapproval. No, these screenshots are enough for us to find the person. She was still worried about the involvement of too many people at first, but these 9 screenshots successfully relieved her worries. Because the comments in the screenshots were very extreme and subjective, it was obvious that they were posted by someone who particularly disliked Wen Jiu. You know, there are very few people in the college who hate Wen Jiu so much, so she only needs to select from these people. Really? Minahan's eyes suddenly burst into light. Then I'll look for it with you. I'll help Jiu too. Although she and Wen Jiu are not particularly familiar with each other, they are teammates who have experienced adventures together, and they are classmates with good relationships, so she still wants to help each other. Hearing this, Kyoshi first thought for a moment, and then smiled and agreed. Anyway, everyone knows that she and Wen Jiu have a good relationship, so it is normal for her to help the other party find the person who slandered him. Besides, there is nothing shameful about this kind of thing. Now many students in the college have spontaneously started to look for him, and they are all fighting for Wen Jiu. As the saying goes, there is strength in numbers, so it is reasonable for her to get more people to help. So she took the door card of the study room and walked in with Minahan. While looking for suspicious targets, they waited for Zikingayu to come to discuss. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1031 Return to the Jade Rabbit Clan 1. It's a pity that Wen Jiu didn't know at the moment that her friends had done so much silently, because she was sleeping soundly on the small auspicious cloud. When she woke up, she returned to the Jade Rabbit Clan. But when she opened her eyes, she saw a magnified face, which scared her so much that she stood up and let out a wolf howl. TSK, Chujian rarely showed a trace of disgust. Your saliva splashed on my face. He wiped his face while saying it, as if it was really stained with saliva. Seeing this, Wen Jiu slapped him with a claw. Crawl. Stop looking for a fight in front of me, okay? As she spoke, she stretched and shook the wolf hair on her body. Although she knew that flying was much faster than walking, this speed was too fast. Before she fell asleep, she was in the Red Fox clan, which was closest to the 13th military region. But when she woke up, she arrived at the Changle Palace of the Jade Rabbit clan. This speed is really amazing. Alas, I'm really sad that you have such an attitude after not seeing you for so many days. Chujian frowned, pretending to be wronged. I miss you very much. Hearing this, Wen Jiu glanced at him speechlessly. That's enough. Don't take advantage of me turning into a wolf to make trouble. Although she knew that Chujian had no ill intentions, the other party's expression of asking for a beating really made her unable to help but say a few words. Oh, by the way, where did Lao Shen go? Did I sleep for a long time? She looked around, but couldn't find Shenzing. Besides her, there was only Chujian in the room. And Husan, where did he go? Logically speaking, she and Shenzhen came back together, so she asked such a question. After saying that, Chu Jian calmly drank a sip of tea. TSK, you've become so close after just going out, and you don't even care about me, your brother. She held her breath and slapped him on the leg. Okay, then tell me what you did in the Jade Rabbit tribe. Please report everything you do every day, so that I can take good care of you. When she said the last part, she deliberately emphasized her tone, with a feeling of gritting her teeth. You don't have to report everything. Chu Jian raised his eyebrows at her. I'll help you deal with the Blue Bad tribe. At first, she was still thinking about jumping on Chu Jian and beating him, but the other party's words made her confused. During the time when she was not in the Jade Rabbit clan, did Chu Jian actually go to the Bluebird clan? He even helped her persuade the Bluebird clan to cooperate. How did he suddenly become a human? Thinking of this, Wen Jiu tilted his head in confusion. Something is wrong, very wrong. Why did you suddenly become a human? Could it be that you were possessed by someone? Chu Jian, who was originally smiling, returned to a cold face when he heard this. What do you mean I suddenly became a human? Was I not good enough to you before? Seeing this, Wen Jiu immediately grinned. You misunderstood. I didn't mean that. You are the best brother. You are my half-brother. The main reason was that she rarely saw Chu Jian take the initiative to do good things, so she immediately thought about his motives. But no matter what Chu Jian's motives were, she could not deny the fact that he helped. So she decisively changed her tone and began to ask Chu Jian about the whole story. However, the other party did not reveal too much to her, just saying that he helped the chief of the Bluebird clan and then agreed to cooperate with them. Just when she wanted to continue asking, Husan suddenly pushed the door open and walked in. Master Wen, are you awake? The other party said, while eating potato chips. These are the spicy potato chips that the rabbit tribe leader just fried. Do you want some? Seeing this, Wen Jiu raised his paw and shook it. No, you eat it. She was not very hungry at the moment, and she just wanted to know how Chu Jian persuaded the Blue Bad tribe to cooperate. Okay, Husan said, and ate another slice. By the way, Master Wen, why didn't you say that you are half demon blood before? The territory of the Snow Wolf tribe is not far from our Snow Fox tribe. If you had said it earlier, I could take you to visit. After hearing this, she didn't know what to say. She wanted to deny that she was not half demon blood, but her current appearance was really unconvincing. So she could only lie down and said gloomily, I didn't know before. It's not that she deliberately concealed Husan. She couldn't confirm whether she was half demon blood or not, so how could she tell the other party about this? Fortunately, Chu Jian, who was standing by, spoke up at the right time to save the situation. Husan, if you keep eating, you will become a big fat fox. How is that possible? Husan, who always pays attention to his image, immediately widened his eyes. I don't have a physique that easily gains weight. In fact, he was still quite guilty when he said this, because he knew very well how much he ate in the Jade Rabbit clan, and it was definitely impossible to say that he didn't gain weight. But he didn't want to be ridiculed by two humans at all. As a demon, he still had to save some face. So he decisively denied the fact that he had gained weight and used his physique that was not easy to gain weight as an excuse. Oh. To be precise, it should be a human and a half demon. Yeah. Chu Jian also learned Wen Jiu's perfunctory words. By the way, do you know where Lord Shen went? He was just joking before, and he wouldn't really care about these things with Wen Jiu. But the reason why he didn't answer the other party's question before was mainly because he didn't know where Shenzhen went. When he got the news and came to find Wen Jiu, he only saw him and a small auspicious cloud, nothing else. After saying that, Husan slapped his forehead and said, I almost forgot. The leader of the rabbit clan asked me to tell Lord Wen that Lord Shen went to Menghealing to do something. Let Lord Wen stay in the Jade Rabbit clan recently and don't run around. Lord Shen will be back soon after finishing his business. Wen Jiu was dizzy by the string of adults. You should call me Wen Jiu. I always feel it's very strange to call me adults. When the other party heard what she said, he responded happily. Seeing this, she said sullenly, "How can this Shenzing leave so easily? Then I have to stay like this forever." She thought that once she returned to the Jade Rabbit clan, she could return to her human form. Who knew that Shenzing ran away directly, leaving her at a loss as to what to do. "Oh," the rabbit chief also said, Husan said unexpectedly, "Lord Shen left you something before he left and asked you to go to the rabbit chief to get it after you wake up." After hearing this, Wen Jiu's depressed mood instantly improved. It seemed that she didn't have to be a wolf anymore, and she would be able to turn back into a human soon. So she rushed out of the room without saying a word, and went straight to the kitchen to find Rabbit Maksu. Chapter 1032 How many people were killed? Is this the fruit of Emperor Xiu? Why does it look like raisins? When Jiu met Tu Maksu in the corridor, before she ran to the kitchen door, the other party took her around and stepped into the second floor of Changle Palace. Unlike the rooms on the first floor, which were decorated elegantly, the second floor was empty without any decorations. There were only many strange pearwood boxes. After searching for a long time, Tu Maksu finally found a crystal clear box. According to the other party, this is a frost box made of 1,000-year-old black ice, which is specially used to preserve precious herbs. It is a bit like it. Tu Maksu carefully took out the fruit of Emperor Xiu from the frost box. "Do I feed it to you, or do you eat it yourself?" When Jiu raised his head slightly, "Feed it to me, don't throw it on the ground." As soon as she finished speaking, the other party squatted down and spread his palm. The fruit in front of her was very similar to the description in the legend. It was pitch black and only the size of a finger, and looked like dried grapes. She looked at it curiously for a while, then ate the fruit in one bite. In just a few seconds, she felt that the troubles that had been lingering in her heart seemed to have disappeared. She felt a little lightheaded, and the corners of her mouth unconsciously raised up, as if everything had become beautiful. But she didn't eat the fruit of Emperor Xiu to eliminate her sorrow. She wanted to change from a wolf back to a human. So she quickly calmed down and began to feel the fluctuations of spiritual power in her body. If the spiritual power originally accumulated in her body was a spring, then the fruit of Emperor Xiu was the stone thrown into the spring. Although the stone was small, it caused countless ripples. She could feel the spiritual power in her body surging, and her mood became high. The next second, she couldn't help but lie on her front paws and raise her head and let out a deafening wolf howl. Tu Maksu next to him was originally curious and watching. He really wanted to know how Wen Jiu would turn back into a human, because he had never encountered a situation where the demon didn't know how to turn into a human. As a result, he only watched for a short while, and then saw the big wolf in front of him shook his wolf hair, and then raised his head, and began to howl. You know, wolves and rabbits are natural enemies, so he was frightened and changed back to his original form instantly. The main reason was that Wen Jiu's wolf howl was too loud, and there was a hint of murderous intent in the other party's silver eyes, which was really scary for a weak rabbit like him. So he rushed into the pile of boxes at a very fast speed, fearing that Wen Jiu would suddenly lose his mind and attack him. Fortunately, the other party calmed down after howling a few times, and then changed back to his original human form in the blink of an eye. It's still more comfortable to be a human. When Jiu shook his hands and moved his arms again. Hey, where did Xiaoxu go? She had been trying to suppress the boiling strange power in her body with her spiritual power, so she didn't notice that the poor rabbit Maksu was scared and hid. As soon as the voice fell, a grey and white rabbit jumped out of the pile of wooden boxes. Puff, why did you change back to your original form? She was about to walk over and take the opportunity to touch him when she saw Tu Maksu suddenly turned into a human form. The other party's snow white face bulged, and even his eyebrows were tightly wrinkled together, as if he was sulking. Seeing this, she couldn't help scratching her head in confusion. What's wrong? Did I offend you? She recalled carefully. She didn't attack Tu Maksu just now. Why did the other party put on a stinky face? Humph. Tu Maksu didn't want to admit that he was scared. So he snorted and walked forward to put away the frost box, and then took a step and slowly walked towards the stairs. He is the patriarch of the Jade Rabbit clan after all. If other rabbits knew that he was scared by a few wolf howls, where would he put his face? Fortunately, Wen Jiu didn't continue to ask and just followed him back to the first floor. Your brother should have told you what happened in the Bluebird clan. He calmed down at this moment and took the initiative to break the silence. He had gone to the Bluebird tribe with Chujian to discuss cooperation. Although they finally achieved their goal, the process was not pleasant, to be honest. When he thought of the other party killing a few bluebirds, he couldn't help shivering and wanted to run away. You know, he is now more than 200 years old, but he has never met such a fierce human. Of course, he has never seen a monster as fierce as Chujian. And now Wen Jiu is suspected to be a half-blood of the Snow Wolf tribe, so he feels that some things still need to be discussed. After all, the Jade Rabbit tribe is a monster tribe with no combat power, and he doesn't want to be forced to cooperate by force. However, the other party smacked his lips. I'm so hungry. Is there anything to eat in the kitchen? Yes. He pinched his eyebrows helplessly. The ingredients in the kitchen are always available. You can cook whatever you want to eat. Hearing this, Wen Jiu turned around and rushed to the kitchen. She was really not hungry when she just woke up, but now she was extremely hungry. After turning back into a human, she felt as if she could eat a cow. As for what Tumaksu mentioned, she thought they could talk while eating, and there was no need to waste time standing and talking. So she rushed into the kitchen and went straight to the warehouse, picked up a few ingredients, and started to process them. Why are you running so fast? Tumaksu sat on a chair panting to rest. No one is competing with you for the kitchen. This is my exclusive kitchen. No other rabbit spirits will use it. As he spoke, he poured himself a cup of tea. After taking 2 sips and taking a break, he continued. Did you hear what I said before? I heard it. Brother Hei told me that the Bluebird tribe is willing to cooperate. Wen Jiu answered while cutting green onions. What's wrong? Is there any hidden secret in this? He sighed heavily. Although the Bluebird tribe agreed to cooperate, their attitude is not very good. Because your brother's methods are really a bit rough, the Bluebird tribe split into 2 factions. But one thing you can rest assured is that the dominant faction is on our side. Although he had planned to have a good talk with Wen Jiu, he really didn't know what to say for a while. He couldn't just come up and tell the other party that your brother was killing people everywhere in the Bluebird clan. He couldn't say such a thing. However, he never expected that Wen Jiu would ask calmly, oh, how many people did Brother Hei kill? He wasn't injured, was he? He was confused by these 2 questions. No, isn't your focus a bit strange? He thought Wen Jiu would care about what Chujian had done and what the situation was with the Bluebird clan, but he didn't expect the other party to just ask how many people he had killed. Chapter 1033 How many people were killed? Hearing this, Wen Jiu first poured the chopped lettuce into the pot and stir-fried it, then looked up at the shocked Tumaksu and said, is my focus strange? You have said it so clearly, so shouldn't I care about how many people died? She knew Chujian's temper. He was just a big-tailed wolf pretending to be a sheep. Although Chujian is much more docile now, he is still a fierce person in nature. If you don't pay attention, you will be gnawed to the bone. And what Tumaksu said just now is very obvious. How could she not guess what happened? Since it has already happened, there is no need for her to care more. She can't just arrest Chujian and take him to the Bluebird clan to apologize just because he killed a few bluebirds. Besides, Chujian is not a madman who is bloodthirsty, so he must have a reason for doing this. So she didn't mean to blame Chujian at all. She even wanted to find him to ask if there was any gossip. Tumaksu didn't know how to respond for a while. Although the chief of the Bluebird tribe agreed to cooperate, it was still unknown whether the cooperation could go smoothly. Therefore, he originally wanted to say that Chujian's methods were too vicious, and Wen Jiu might need to go to the Bluebird tribe to discuss this matter in person. He thought he knew the latter very well, and the other party was quite good in dealing with people, at least not as violent and cruel as the former. But when he saw Wen Jiu's calm face, he suddenly felt a little unsure of the other party's temper. Just as he was considering how to start, he suddenly saw Chujian walking in from the door. It's nothing, I just killed a few disobedient birds, and the chirping made me uncomfortable. As the other party spoke, He walked to the stove and picked up firewood to help very naturally. Hearing this, Wen Jiu said, while frying the ingredients in the pot, "How many did you kill? Are you injured?" "I forgot, maybe 3 or 4. He shrugged indifferently. "I'm not injured, but I'm very tired after running all the way. You have to give me a red envelope when I get back." He killed a few bluebirds that resisted the most fiercely, mainly to ensure that King Meng could secure the position of the tribe leader so that future cooperation could proceed smoothly. However, he wanted to spare their lives at first, but those bluebirds kept chirping, so he used a gun to kill them cleanly. It was a way to prevent future troubles. When Jiu poured the fried lettuce and meat slices into the plate, 3 or 4 bluebirds are not a small number. "Tell me what happened to you in the Bluebird tribe, and why did you go on a killing spree?" She was so hungry at this time that she picked up the chopsticks and started to eat with relish. The lettuce was extremely crisp and tender with a fresh fragrance, and it was delicious when combined with the smooth meat slices. Every bite was full of happiness. "Actually, it's no big deal." Chu Jian slumped lazily in a chair. The Bluebird tribe was originally divided into 2 factions, one supporting the tribe leader King Meng, and the other supporting the tribe leader's sister. It's just that they had been fighting secretly before I intervened. After I killed the leader of the other faction, the Great Elder, the struggle between the 2 factions was officially exposed. And the funniest thing about those bluebirds is that the tribe leader's sister has no intention of getting promoted at all. It's all their wishful thinking. Hearing this, Wen Jiu, who was eating lettuce and pork slices, couldn't help but sneer. "That's really interesting. That means tribe leader King Meng and his sister actually have a very good relationship, but those bluebirds headed by the Great Elder are making trouble on their own." She thought something big had happened, but it turned out to be just infighting. "Yes." Chu Jian raised his lips when he said this. "I think the elder wanted to be the clan leader. He said that supporting the clan leader's sister to take the position should be just a cover. So in order to prevent him from doing things in secret, I found a reason to send him to the paradise." What the paradise refers to, no one must not understand. When Tu Marxu heard this, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart. The 2 people in front of him are really worthy of being brothers and sisters. They are equally shameless when they speak. He still remembers Chu Jian's unruly look when he played with the knife. The other party looked at the elder with a mocking smile. After saying, "Because I want to kill you, I will kill you," he threw the knife in his hand and stabbed it directly into the chest of the elder. "Excuse me, is this also a reason?" How can Chu Jian have the nerve to say it? It would be fine if the other party didn't tell Wen Jiu the specific situation, but now he is still using a tone of matter-of-factness. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that he seemed to be on a pirate ship and couldn't escape. He sighed as he thought about it. Hearing this, Wen Jiu looked up at Tu Marxu. "Xiaoxu, why do you look so sad?" She had noticed the other person's sad look before, but she was so hungry that she just wanted to eat and didn't ask much. Alas. Tu Marxu sighed heavily again. The main reason was that he was in a very complicated mood, so he didn't know what to say. If you say that Wen Jiu and Chu Jian's methods are cruel, they didn't do anything to their Jade Rabbit clan. Moreover, the 2 have always been very friendly to the Jade Rabbit clan. Even if they encountered difficulties from several elders before, they have always solved them by eliminating prejudice. But if you say that Wen Jiu and Chu Jian are kind, when he thought of the Bluebird clan's great elder being stabbed and King Yuan having all her feathers plucked out, he inexplicably felt a sense of grief. This made his defense, which had been put down, stand up again firmly. Just when he was struggling, he heard Chu Jian say with a smile, "Xiaoxu must have been scared by me before. This is also my fault. If I had known that he was so timid, I would have avoided him." So that's the case. Wen Jiu quickly took over with a smile. "I know. Is Xiaoxu worried that we will attack the Jade Rabbit clan?" She could vaguely sense Tu Marxu's thoughts. After all, she had always been very kind before, so the other party thought she was really like this. As a result, Chu Jian's attack was too ruthless, and she did not comment on it, which led to Tu Marxu's vigilance. In fact, it is normal to think about it. They have not known Tumaksu for a long time, and they came here with a purpose. Therefore, after seeing Chujayan's methods, the other party naturally worried that they would treat the Jade Rabbit clan like this. In any case, she and Chujayan are not demons, and Tumaksu will inevitably feel sad for the rabbit's death. So she waited for a moment before continuing. Zyaksu, have you forgotten the oath you made with me? Chapter 1034 Mid-Autumn Festival is coming 1. After hearing these words, the worry on Tumaksu's face was slightly reduced. He was indeed frightened by Chujayan, and had forgotten about it. He and Wen Jiu had made a heaven and earth oath in front of Emperor Xiu. If Wen Jiu hurt the Jade Rabbit clan, he would be punished by the 5 thunderbolts. But he felt very embarrassed when he thought about admitting that he was frightened, so he chose to pretend that nothing happened. I didn't forget. He adjusted his sitting position pretending to be calm. I just want to have an extra layer of insurance, so I asked you what you think. After saying that, Wen Jiu smiled very cooperatively. Oh, so that's the case. Then you can rest assured, I won't attack the Jade Rabbit clan. But she paused for a moment when she said this, and after looking at Chujayan, she continued, I believe you are now clear about my brother's temper. As long as there are no fools from the Jade Rabbit clan looking for a fight, he will never attack the Jade Rabbit clan. Right, brother? In fact, she dug a trap when she swore before, but Tumaksu, who didn't know the treacherous human heart, didn't find it. That is, she only said that she would never harm the Jade Rabbit clan, but she didn't say that the people around her would not attack the Jade Rabbit clan. However, she dug this trap mainly to protect herself. After all, no one can say for sure whether there are Jade Rabbits in the Jade Rabbit clan who hate humans. If she is deceived and harmed by the Jade Rabbit clan and cannot retaliate, then she can only be a begonged person who swallows her anger. This was really painful for her. That's why she kept this trick on purpose, in case there were problems that could not be solved in the future. And now she brought Chujayan into the conversation, just to remind Tumaksu of this matter deliberately. Although she couldn't do it, her people could. That's natural. Chujayan quickly understood. I'm still a very moral person. As long as you don't mess with me, I won't make trouble. Hearing this, although Tumaksu had little experience in the ways of the world, he was not able to become the patriarch of the Jade Rabbit clan, just because of his status. Therefore, he quickly understood the meaning of Wen Jiu's words. The other party just wanted to express that I would not offend others if they didn't offend me. The reason why Chujayan had taken action against the Bluebird clan before was mainly because of the repeated offenses of the 2 elders. You know, the other party's attitude was still very good earlier. Not only did they carefully select a lot of gifts before leaving, but they were also willing to communicate well with those arrogant bluebirds. If it weren't for the Bluebird clan's 1st elder and 7th elder who had committed suicide several times, Chujayan would not have used such brutal means to solve the problem. Thinking about it now, it seems that he was too stubborn. So he didn't dwell on this issue anymore, but changed the subject with a red face. That, Lord Wen, Lord Shen specifically told you to stay here and wait for him before he left. Now we don't know when Lord Shen will return, so do you want to celebrate the festival with us and your brother? After speaking, Wen Jiu ate the last bite of lettuce and meat slices, senmoji. She hadn't swallowed the food in her mouth yet, so her words were a little unclear. Mid-Autumn Festival, Tumaksu answered sincerely. Mid-Autumn Festival is the most important festival for our Jade Rabbit clan. When she heard this, she remembered that Mid-Autumn Festival was coming soon. Thinking back to last year's Mid-Autumn Festival, she was still in the previous world, making mooncakes and rabbit lanterns with her senior sisters and brothers. Who knew that she came to this world just a few days after Mid-Autumn Festival? It would be better if she didn't mention it, but she felt a little sad when she mentioned it. Chujayan, who was sitting quietly beside her, seemed to see her distress. What's wrong? Don't you want to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival? That's not the case. She quickly recovered after hearing what the other party said. I just thought that Mid-Autumn Festival is coming soon, so I have to make some mooncakes by myself. So should I make sweet mooncakes or salty mooncakes? The past is gone with the wind. Grasp the present. I don't know if she will have the chance to go back in this life, so it's better to seize the good time in front of her and enjoy it. It's a pity that Rumen, Kaioshishi and others are not here. She can only celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival with Chujian and a group of jade rabbits. As soon as she finished speaking, Tumaksu shouted excitedly, "It must be sweet mooncakes. How can anyone eat salty mooncakes?" Chujian, who hadn't eaten mooncakes for a long time and had only eaten dark flavored ones, raised his eyebrows and sang a different tune when he heard this. "What's wrong with salty mooncakes? I just like salty ones. There won't be any rabbits who eat sweet mooncakes, right? Salty mooncakes are the most unpalatable. Very greasy, you understand." Tumaksu widened her red eyes angrily. "If you want to eat salty mooncakes, then make them yourself. We in the Jade Rabbit clan only eat sweet mooncakes." After speaking, Chujian immediately smiled and whistled. "That's fine. Anyway, I have a sister who makes salty mooncakes. Do you have one?" Tumaksu, who doesn't have a sister, decisively turned her head and looked at Wen Jiu. "You're not really going to make salty mooncakes, are you? Salty mooncakes are so unpalatable that they are impossible to swallow. The main reason is that the tradition of the Jade Rabbit clan is to eat sweet mooncakes, so he really can't understand why someone would want to eat salty mooncakes." Seeing this, Wen Jiu spread his hands indifferently. "I think salty mooncakes are not bad, especially the fresh meat mooncakes, which taste very fragrant." In addition to fresh meat mooncakes, she also planned to make lotus seed paste and egg yolk mooncakes. These two types of salty mooncakes were her favorites in the past. It happened that, when she was looking for ingredients in the warehouse, she found that Tumaksu had pickled 5 or 6 baskets of salted duck eggs, which were most suitable for making delicious and tasty mooncakes. If there was no ham available here, she could also make ham-filled mooncakes. No. How can you eat salty mooncakes?" Tumaksu was so angry that her face turned red. Salty mooncakes are really not delicious. Seeing that the other party was so anxious, she couldn't help laughing and said, "I know you are anxious, but don't be anxious. I don't only make salty mooncakes, I can also make sweet mooncakes. What could be happier than eating snowy mooncakes?" She had already decided to make snowy mooncakes with milky yellow filling. Pineapple-filled snowskin mooncakes are also good, but she wants to make some pineapple cakes to try, so this flavor of snowskin mooncakes will be put aside for now. Anyway, the milky yellow filled snowskin mooncakes are also very delicious, and there will be mooncakes made by the rabbit spirits at that time, so she will not worry about not having mooncakes to eat. Thinking of this, she clicked on the light screen panel. Although the time on the desolate planet is faster than that on planet 3047, it is also time for the Mid-Autumn Festival on planet 3047. She thought about sending a few mooncake recipes to Miss Tao and asking her to make them and sell them in Taoiao for a limited time and limited quantity. As expected of her, she never forgets to earn star coins at any time. But she had just clicked on the light screen panel when she was flooded with several message pop-ups. Chapter 1035 Mid-Autumn Festival is coming to Bakalulu, sister, something big has happened. Someone has exposed your real information on Xingbo. Now the topic about you has firmly sat in the top 5 of the hot search list. Wuiyao Food President Ming, I don't know where Li Yaoke got your real information from. He has now bought a lot of water army to promote it on Xingbo. Such behavior has violated federal law. If you need it, you can tell me, and I will immediately arrange legal personnel and professional lawyers. Zizang Cheo Shui, what's the situation? Why is it that when I check Xingbo, it's all about you? Are you in big trouble? Do you want me to help you deal with it? 3047 College Teacher Yu, Wen Jiu, I already know about the things on Xingbo. It can be confirmed that one of the whistleblowers is a student of 3047 College. I have communicated with Teacher Li and Dean Huang, and they will do their best to find the student who maliciously spread rumors and nonsense. So you don't have to worry too much, just deal with your own affairs first. Seeing this, Wen Jiu replied to every message seriously, especially the one from Rumen. She didn't expect that the other party would know about this. So she edited several messages, telling Rumen not to worry about this matter and asked her to focus on taking care of her health. Because Lulu, Mingyahan and others didn't reply to her at this time, she clicked on the group chat with her friends to check. She saw that Zikingayu and Kyoshi had sent many messages. She knew at a glance that they were discussing things on Zingbo. But what surprised her was that they actually found the person who broke the news. Shishi, study hard Kingayu, Mina and I investigated for a long time, and combined with the clues provided by enthusiastic classmates, we finally found the idiot who slandered you. Shishi, study hard Jiu. Do you still remember Shigang? He was the big guy who had a conflict with you a long time ago, who looked like a stone spirit. Kingayu Shianshan Ziyang. It's a pity that I didn't know Jiuji very well at that time, otherwise I would have beaten Shigang so hard that his mother wouldn't recognize him. Jiuji, you don't know how disgusting this Shigang is. It's okay that he slandered and spread rumors about you, but he actually threatened other students to join him. Kingayu Shianshan Ziyang. Fortunately, that classmate didn't do such a thing that goes against his conscience. Otherwise I would really catch him from the dormitory and put him on the training ground to show him to the public. I almost forgot to say that Teacher Lee has taken Shigang away and said that he would cooperate with the relevant departments in the investigation. So Jiuji, you don't have to worry too much. Shishi, study hard. Okay, Zarabanli, don't blame Senior Lee. He was threatened by Shigang before, so he agreed to Shigang's help. Besides, the reason why we can lock Shigang and find evidence is because Senior Lee is willing to cooperate with our actions. Otherwise, with Shigang's extremely cunning character, it would be difficult for us to find evidence. What Wen Jiu didn't expect was that the person who hid in the college and broke the news was actually Shigang, who had been forgotten by her. Of course, 9 out of 10 of the information about her is false, and most of it is fabricated. If she is really as bad as described in the Zingbo revelation, then there should have been students who couldn't stand it and came out to expose her. Why wait until now to jump out and complain? But think about it carefully. Shigang had a conflict with her in the beginning, and she beat him up until he cried. It is not surprising that he is now slandering her in Zingbo. It's just that her and Shigang's incident happened a long time ago, and she didn't expect that he had been dormant all this time. TSK, it's really bearing humiliation and bearing heavy burdens. Just when she wanted to turn down the group chat interface and switch out to communicate with Lulu, she suddenly saw Stephanie sent a message in the group. Nini likes Jiu. Did I miss a lot of opportunities to watch the fun? The other party left for the entrance examination some time ago, and he didn't go online much or send messages during the period. If she didn't know that Uruman arranged someone to accompany her, she would have thought that Stephanie was kidnapped again. The other party suddenly popped up at this moment, presumably because the entrance exam was over. As she expected, Stephanie soon sent a new message announcing that the entrance exam for the Ria Military Academy had ended. Shishi, study hard, great. Then you will be back to planet 3047 soon. Nini, you must come to the 3047 Academy to play with us. The academy now has many more mechas for practice, and the food in the cafeteria is much better than before. I must take you to have a good look around. King Aishai and Xiang how did Xiao Feng do in the exam? Did you pass? Is this entrance exam difficult? Although Kaio Shishi and Zikingayu have different concerns, they both care about Stephanie from the bottom of their hearts. Nini likes Jiu. Well, I should have passed, right? I don't know, it's not that difficult. I think it's quite fun, especially the battle exam. I dismantled the battle robot completely. Seeing this, Wen Jiu just calmly sent an expression over. Well, Stephanie is still Stephanie. The other person's brain circuit is always so different. King Aishai and Xiang, I think I should ask Teacher Sun. Sweating soybean expression. Shishi, study hard, so when will you come, Nini? If it happens to be the weekend, Xiaobanli and I can still pick you up. Nini likes Jiu. I don't know, Teacher Sun is not here at the moment. I will ask her when she comes back and tell you later. Jiu is rich at SHI study hard at QINGYU Shai and Xiang. I will send Miss Tao several mooncake recipes later and let her make them and sell them in Tao for a limited time and in limited quantities. Remember to go over and check the situation when you are on vacation. Jiu is rich. @NINI likes Jiu. Be careful when you go back, and remember to send the Starship ticket to the group, just in case. Wen Jiu looked at the messages from her friends for a while, and then she switched the interface to Lulu. After all, her matter has caused a stir in Xingbo, and she has to solve it herself anyway. We have sent people to contact Xingbo officials, hoping that they can provide information about the whistleblower. After all, this matter involves the crime of defamation and rumor mongering, and the next step is to go through the Star process, so Xingbo officials will definitely cooperate. But Sister Fake, you have to post a Xingbo yourself to let the melon-eating crowd know that you are collecting evidence, and inform them that legal procedures will be taken next. In order to prevent some melon-eating crowds who don't know the truth from saying the same thing and saying nonsense, that you are afraid of being exposed and dare not speak out. Seeing this, she couldn't help but sigh in her heart that it is really hard to make star coins these days. She has been working diligently and hard and has never done anything illegal, but she is always inexplicably involved in various incidents. Alas, she has it so hard. Report. Today's first update has been successfully delivered. Thank you for the support of the little angels. Chapter 1036 Mid-Autumn Festival is coming 3. The attitude of Bakaliv was really good. They even wrote a statement for Wen Jiu in advance. She only needed to copy and paste it and send it. But she didn't rush to send it out. She first forwarded it to Ming Yahan and asked the other party's lawyer to help check it. After confirming that there were no loopholes, she added some news about Shigang and then posted the statement on the Xingbo homepage. She also posted a statement on the Anchor homepage of Bakaliv to prevent those who deliberately framed and slandered her from finding an opportunity. But in a moment, she received a wave of comments. Galaxy sweetheart, Sister Fake did a good job. The rumor maker should be sued to Star. It would be better to give them a 10-year travel gift package. The green on the head unconditionally supports Sister Fake. No matter what Sister Fake's true identity is, it should not be used as a weapon of crusade. Besides, Sister Fake has never used her personality to earn star coins, and she has never used the so-called dwarf identity to sell misery, so please don't hold on to this point. Big Brother Monkey, as a gourmet who never accepts promotion, I can tell everyone responsibly that the food launched by Sister Fake is very delicious. In addition, what some people say about buying good reviews and marketing is all false. Who in the industry doesn't know that Wuiao food does not buy marketing? If you have doubts, please buy a portion of Wuiao food first. After eating it, you will know the truth of those rumors. Big Brother Monkey, forgive me for being so angry, so I will make another comment. Please apologize as soon as possible for those idiots who said I was a money-making fool. Although I'm indeed a loyal fan of Sister Fake, I have never received the so-called promotion fee. I have always been paying for the food made by Sister Fake, okay? Little bear poo poo poo, woo woo woo. Sister Fake is really beautiful and kind. But to be honest, I really didn't expect Sister Fake to be a student. Now Sister Fake is going to become a Fake girl. Thinking of Leo Zhu every day. The person who has been exposing the news with mixed feelings is actually Leo Zhu's former boss Golden Dragon Flying. Sister Fake and I are classmates in the same college. Sister Fake is really a very good person. She not only teaches other students to cook in the cafeteria, but also always gives us students more favorable prices. If you don't believe it, you can click on my homepage. I posted everyone's comments on Sister Fake in the college forum, as well as the handwriting of us students who united to speak out. Whined like man, I support Sister Fake to sue the rumor mongers to Star. And Chris, the idiot, please come out and apologize quickly, okay? It's all because of you that Sister Fake was misunderstood and slandered. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. I'm very sorry. I kowtow 3 times to Sister Fake here. It's all my fault for talking nonsense about you, a dwarf, before, which led to the spread of rumors, causing you to be slandered by those evil people now. When Jiu first checked some of the comments, and when she saw the comments posted by Chris, she couldn't help laughing. She had thought that someone had maliciously spread rumors, deliberately saying that she was a dwarf to attract hatred, but she didn't expect that it was actually spread from Chris. The main reason was that she didn't know how to adjust the camera when she first started live streaming, and she was very thin at that time, which led to the other party misunderstanding that she was a dwarf. Alas, fortunately this misunderstanding has been resolved now. Otherwise, even she herself would not know when she became a dwarf. Speaking of height, she seems to have grown taller recently. Brother Harry, come here. Wen Jiu waved at Chujian, who had just finished cleaning the kitchen. Come on, come on. After the words fell, the other party walked over in a daze. What's wrong? Have you finished your business? Because she had just said that she had to deal with something. Two marks who left the kitchen first, leaving only her and Chujian here to work. Chujian naturally would not disturb her, so he started to clean and tidy up the kitchen alone. Almost done, she said, and stood next to the other party. Yeah, almost done. She was already as tall as Chujian's shoulders, which means she was more than 1.6 meters tall. You know, she is still in the growth period, and she may reach 1.7 meters in the future. She felt happy just thinking about it. TSK, you've grown taller again, right? Chujian frowned in dissatisfaction. Because he is the tallest person in the small group, everyone uses him as a reference. Like Zikingayu and Kyoshishi, they have secretly used him as a reference. But these two people will at least cover up, usually pretending to stand over and compare unintentionally. And Wen Jiu is always blatant, as if he is afraid that he doesn't know. As for Stephanie, it doesn't matter if she doesn't mention it. That's right. At least 3 centimeters taller. Wen Jiu happily clicked on the light screen panel. Although she has already issued a statement and knows who is behind the trouble, she still wants to see everyone's reaction. The comment area of Zingbo where she issued the statement is almost occupied by money fans, and 9 out of 10 comments are money fans who are defending her. The remaining ones were passers-by who came to watch the show, but those passers-by would not make any comments, except to sigh that her real age was shocking. Although she had long been prepared for the day when she would be exposed, to be honest, Gang's move still caught her off guard. She couldn't help but feel sad when she thought of this. How could this vest fall off so easily? Fortunately, she had many vests on her, so it was not a big deal to lose one. It was a pity that Gongzi Fake was her most successful vest at the moment, and it was taken off by Gang before she had time to enjoy it. She was immersed in her own world and was sad, and was suddenly pulled out by Chujian's voice. By the way, Xiaoxu said before she left that the Mid-Autumn Festival is in a week. If you want to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival with the Jade Rabbit clan, you can go to the 8th Elder to get the holiday supply package. Hearing this, Wen Jiu asked in confusion, supply package? What is that? I don't understand either, but that's what he said. You'll know when you get it. Chujian took advantage of her distracted moment and raised his hand to flick her forehead, causing her tears to fill her eyes instantly. So she picked up a potato without saying a word and threw it directly at the other party. But Chujian's escape speed was so fast that she threw several potatoes in a row and missed. The other party then ran out of the kitchen like a flash of smoke, so she had to speed up and chased after him, but she ran into the 4th Elder head on. If she hadn't reacted in time and stopped, I'm afraid she would have knocked the other party upside down. The 4th Elder stared at her with a gloomy face. Just when she was considering the words to fight back, the other party snorted and turned away, leaving her with only a thin but upright back. Seeing this, she couldn't help but frown in confusion. But now was not the time to investigate the 4th Elder. She had to beat Chujian up. So she temporarily put the matter behind her and continued to run in the direction where the other party fled. Source the 2nd update has also been delivered on time. Please check it out, little angels. 030. Chapter 1037 Welcome Mid-Autumn Festival 1. Chujian. If you don't know how to do it, don't mess around. Look at how much material you have wasted. My heart is bleeding for this. Wen Jiu looked at the scraps of paper covering the table and was so angry that she felt dizzy. A few days ago, she found the 8th Elder in Chang'e Hall and received the so-called supply package. Only then did she know that this was given to the rabbits of the Jade Rabbit clan before every festival. As the name suggests, it is used for supplies. Although the rabbit spirits of the Jade Rabbit clan are very hardworking, there are differences between rabbits. Some rabbit spirits have many rabbits in their homes, so their lives will inevitably be a little tight. Therefore, before each festival, the elders will distribute certain festival ingredients or materials according to the number of rabbit spirits in each household, so that everyone can have a happy holiday. Because Tumaksu specifically told the 8th elder, Wen Jiu also received a supply package. There are not only ingredients for making sweet mooncakes, but also many materials for making rabbit lanterns. She tried to make 2 rabbit lanterns today, and then taught Chujian how to make rabbit lanterns. But when she came back from talking to Husan, she saw that the original intact materials were gone, and there were only scraps of paper and broken sticks on the table. Although those materials were given by the Jade Rabbit clan for free, she still felt like she was stabbed. Perhaps because her reaction at this moment was too violent, Chujian rarely showed a trace of embarrassment. Ahem. I didn't expect it to be like this, but I still succeeded in making a rabbit lantern. The other party took out a lantern from below and placed it on the scraps of paper with confidence. Seeing this, Wen Jiu silently pursed her lips to hold back her smile. For the first time, she wanted to open Chujian's head to see what was wrong with his aesthetics. This can't be called a rabbit lantern at all, because no rabbit lantern is rectangular. The bright red and green colors are combined together, and the facial features are painted on it with black and white. There was a dot of white on the round black eyes, which looked empty and strange. On the big white mouth below, many teeth were painted black, which looked like a female ghost in a horror movie. To be honest, she thought this lamp was very suitable for scaring Zikingayu. It was a pity that she didn't spend the Mid-Autumn Festival here with her. Just when she was thinking about how to evaluate this lamp, Chujian picked up the lamp and smiled at her. How is it? Does it look like you? Come here, I promise not to beat you to death. Wen Jiu felt that sooner or later she would be irritated by the other party and have high blood pressure. The key is that Chujian was not joking this time. The other party really thought that the ugly lamp looked like her. Just when she wanted to go over and give Chujian a beating, there was a rhythmic knock on the door. Okay, the other party's luck is really good. Every time someone shows up to save her life. I knew you were here. Tomorrow is the Mid-Autumn Festival. I came to give you 2 boxes of mooncakes and to inform you that the Jade Rabbit clan will have a party tomorrow. What is that ugly thing? Tumaksu was carrying 2 boxes of mooncakes happily, wanting to invite Wen Jiu and Chujian to his Mid-Autumn Festival dinner, but he caught a glimpse of the lamp on the table. To be honest, he had never seen such an ugly lamp in his 200 years of life. It was so ugly that he felt his eyes were dirty and devalued. Is it that the aesthetics of humans are different from those of the demons, or is he too old to understand young people? Hearing this, Wen Jiu took a deep breath and smiled. This is a rabbit lantern made by Brother Hei himself. How is it? Do you like it? Do you want me to give it to you? That's not necessary. He forced a smile to respond to the other party, but this lantern should not be called a rabbit lantern. I'm afraid that other rabbit spirits will be unhappy when they hear it. Although he can understand the peculiar aesthetics of humans, it does not mean that other rabbit spirits can understand it. Judging from the appearance of this lamp, which was so ugly that it shocked the soul, he felt that if Wen Jiu carried this lamp out, it would definitely attract the attention of many rabbit spirits. Those rabbit spirits might be curious at most, and they would not do anything bad. But if they called this ugly lamp a rabbit lamp, the rabbit spirits would be so angry that they would tear the lamp apart. He didn't want to mediate conflicts during the Mid-Autumn Festival. He just wanted to celebrate the festival with the rabbits. You are right. Wen Jiu looked at Chujian with a fake smile. Since you made it yourself, why not call it a black lamp? You should treasure this black lamp. I just want to appreciate your kindness. As soon as she finished speaking, she saw the other party raised his eyebrows with a smile. That won't work. I made the lamp specially for you. I will put it on your bedside when I go back. May you be safe and sound in the future. Hearing this, she couldn't help but twitch the corners of her mouth. She felt that if she put such an ugly lamp on the bedside, let alone a safe and sound life in the future, she was afraid that she would have a bloody disaster when she got up tomorrow morning. But Tumaksu was still there, and she couldn't throw Chujayan's ugly lamp out in front of him. So she silently changed the subject. By the way, Zyaksu, didn't you bring 2 boxes of mooncakes? What flavors are they? Of course they are rose red bean and osmanthus lotus paste. Tumaksu said as he handed over the box. These are all mooncakes he made by hand, and they were carefully packed in a laurel wood box. Whether it is a gift to people or the demon tribe, it is very face saving. He didn't care that Wen Jiu and Chujayan wanted to eat salty mooncakes. When they came to the Jade Rabbit tribe, they had to follow the local customs and eat sweet mooncakes. Therefore, he specially chose this time to come and deliver the mooncakes so that the two would not go to the kitchen to make salty mooncakes again. After all, now that there are ready-made mooncakes to eat, Wen Jiu will definitely not waste time making mooncakes again. However, it turned out that he was really wrong, and the other party did not give up the idea of making mooncakes himself. That's great. I'll make mooncakes later and come back to return the favor. When Jiu handed the 2 wooden boxes to Chujayan, then looked at Tumaksu beside him and asked, I remember you said before, what will the Jade Rabbit tribe do tomorrow? Hearing this, Tumaksu just drooped her rabbit ears and replied, nothing. Our Jade Rabbit tribe will hold a moon worship ceremony tomorrow night. I want to ask you, and Brother Harry, if you want to attend together. He paused for a moment, then continued with a blushing cheek, before the moon worship ceremony begins, every household will have a reunion dinner. Do you want to go to my house for dinner? He had never invited other rabbits to his home for dinner, so this was his first time to invite them, and it was inevitable that he would be a little shy. Of course I will go. When Jiu agreed without hesitation, we will go to both the moon worship ceremony and the reunion dinner. The 3rd update has also been successfully delivered. Please check it out, little angels. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1038 Welcome Mid-Autumn Festival 2. Since she was visiting Tumaksu's house, Wen Jiu naturally had to bring gifts. So she waited for Tumaksu to leave, and then she took Chujayan to the kitchen. Of course, mooncakes are the best gifts for the Mid-Autumn Festival, but she would also pick a few things from the Ziggy space as gifts together with the mooncakes, which was also a way to thank Tumaksu for her care during this period of time. As soon as she arrived in the kitchen, she began to order Chujayan to go to the warehouse to find ingredients, while she herself took out the little bees that had not been used for a long time. She hasn't been live for so many days in a row, and it's time to start the live broadcast and chat with the audience. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. I rushed here as soon as I saw Sister Fake start the live broadcast. Sister Fake, remember to open the private message I sent. I recorded a small video for you. I really kowtowed to you 3 times. Pumpkin Dagwan and let this quarrel king. See if there are any idiots going crazy here. No one doesn't love snowflake crisps. Sister Fake, I finally waited for you to start broadcasting. Without you, I'm like a salted fish. I live a drowsy life every day. Only seeing you can make me sober. Ding dang 20. Excuse me, taking a look at my account balance can also make me sober. One after another barrage flashed by quickly. When Jiu just smiled and glanced at them, and then introduced himself as usual. The Mid-Autumn Festival is coming, so what we are going to make today is mooncakes, she said while looking for utensils. Does everyone have any special flavors? I personally prefer snowskin milk yellow mooncakes, and salty and fragrant fresh meat mooncakes. She hasn't had time to study the preferences of people here for mooncake flavors, so she can take advantage of this live broadcast to learn about them briefly. In this way, she can send a few more recipes to Miss Tao so that she can make them in time and sell them in Taoiao. It's a pity that Taoiao has only opened 1 store at present, otherwise she can make a fortune during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Of course you have to eat mooncakes with green pepper and fish. The ones with tomato and cucumber filling are also very good. I believe that everyone here can understand from my nickname that there is really no one who eats mooncakes without pumpkin filling, right? What is a snowy custard mooncake? What is a fresh meat mooncake? I have always eaten mooncakes with eggplant and potato filling during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Since I was a child, I bought fresh meat mooncakes when I was on a business trip to Pangusta before. The taste was okay, but it would feel very greasy if I ate too much. I personally prefer mooncakes with red bean and mung bean filling. The mooncakes you are talking about are too weird. Am I the only one who grew up eating 5-nut mooncakes? But I don't like eating 5-nut mooncakes at all. Every time I eat mooncakes, it is torture for me. It seems that every planet has different mooncakes. I have never eaten the mooncakes you nominated. I've only eaten mooncakes with apple filling a few times, and they're sour and sweet and barely edible. When Jiu looked at the barrage flying over the light screen panel, and she didn't know what to say for a moment. Among the mooncakes mentioned by the money lovers, the 5-nut mooncake is the most normal one. Of course, she didn't think the 5-nut mooncake was not delicious. She was shocked that the mooncakes here were so varied. Red bean, mung bean and apple fillings are fine, but what are green pepper, fish meat, tomato and cucumber? When these interstellar people eat them, won't they cry because they are so unpalatable? Although she was shocked and confused, she still insisted on her professional ethics and said slowly in a gentle voice, "It seems that everyone likes different flavors, so I'll make a few more flavors today. In addition to the snow skin custard mooncake and fresh meat mooncake I just mentioned, I will also make lotus seed paste egg yolk mooncake and pineapple cake for everyone to taste. What pumpkin mooncakes, green pepper and fish meat mooncakes, stay away from her." Even if she ate the fresh meat mooncakes until she was full, she would not touch the dark mooncakes. Today is a good day, although I have never eaten the 3 kinds of mooncakes and crispy ones mentioned by Sister Farke. There is a saying that you can always trust Sister Farke. So I just waited for the taste test. A Big Wolf 33, fresh meat mooncakes. I know it is a good thing as soon as I heard it. By the way, will these mooncakes be put on the market for sale? I'm afraid that I will not be able to get a taste test myself. I want to eat strawberries in one bite. Sister Farke, when will you challenge to cook with strawberries? This strawberry lover really wants to eat dishes made with strawberries. A man like the wind. I'm waiting for the next mooncake to go on sale. I must buy 50 boxes to take back. I'll give some to my aunts, uncles, and cousins. Actually, my mooncakes have already gone on sale, but they are currently only sold in Taiwan. Wen Jiu thought seriously for a while. If anyone wants to buy mooncakes, you can enter the Star Network world to go to Star. Before she could finish the rest of the words, she saw the barrage of comments surging in like a tide, and the speed of the rolling was really dazzling. Glacier, Sister Farke, you are actually secretly selling mooncakes in Taiwan. When will Taiwan's branch be opened on our planet Titan? I can't stand this grievance anymore. Little bear puff puff uppercut, lower cut, left hook, right hook, sweep kick, roundhouse kick. This is a goat jumping, a crow riding an airplane, a mouse walking through a maze, an elephant kicking, an angry octopus, a giant axe chopping down a tree. I'm so mad. Rocky wants to eat all over the stars. I'll get on my private starship and go to planet 3047 right now. There is no problem that can't be solved with star coins. Sister Farke, wait for me. I will buy everything in your store. Golden dragon flying a hem. This resident of planet 3047 accepts Taiwan's online purchases. The number of places is limited and the price is negotiable. Please chat privately if you need it. Dudu is so cute. Catch the money grubber from planet 3047 in front. Give him a good beating. The beauty is speechless. Today is also a day to envy the residents of planet 3047. When will Taiwan open a branch? I'm so heartbroken that I can't breathe. Seeing this, Wen Jiu quickly added the rest of the words. If anyone wants to buy mooncakes, you can enter the Star Network world and go to the Starlight Night Market. You can place an order at number 15, Area A03. That is Taiwan's online store. She had forgotten to promote TOIAO's online store in the live broadcast, so the money grubbers didn't know that they could place orders in the Star Network world. As soon as these words came out, countless money grubbers logged into the Star Network world. Because you can enter coordinates to move in the Star Network world, these people quickly arrived at TOIAO's door. Source, today's first update has been successfully delivered. Please check it out. Little Angels. 030. Chapter 1039 Welcome Mid-Autumn Festival 3. However, what awaited these money seekers was an endless line. Monkey stood at the door in bewilderment. He looked at the long line beside him and the TOIAO sign hanging at the door. He was sure that he had not gone to the wrong place, but who could tell him where these people were from? Just when he was at a loss, he heard the clerk at the door shouting, "Next, number 549. As soon as the other party finished speaking, the woman at the front of the line immediately walked into the store, as if she was afraid that her seat would be taken away. Seeing this, he had to find the clerk and ask, "Hello, is this the TOIAO online store opened by Gongzi Farke?" Yes. The other party looked a little tired, but still forced a smile to respond to him. "If you want to enter the store to place an order, please take the number and wait in the back. Our mung bean cakes are having an event, which is a super value offer of buy 5 boxes and get 1 box free. The new mooncake gift box also has a 10% discount for buying 3 boxes, but this event requires a membership card to participate." The clerk in front of him said a long string of words, which really made Monkey Brother a little confused. But he still obediently took the number and walked to the back of the line. He was watching the live broadcast on the light screen panel while walking. Because his image of the Star Network world was transformed, the money fans who came with him did not recognize him. He walked for about 3 or 4 minutes before he reached the end of the line. And he had just stood there for less than half a minute when a large group of people came and lined up behind him. "When did Sister Farke open her online store?" I just asked a kind person in front of me, and he said that he had bought things here 5 or 6 times. But I surf the Star Network all the time, and I didn't know that Sister Farke opened an online store. Is my internet speed not fast enough? Don't say it. There must be something wrong with your internet speed. I don't know if there will be any mooncakes left when it's our turn if we keep queuing like this. Alas, I didn't like to hang out in the Star Network world before. I always felt that playing in the virtual world was boring. But now I really want to slap my past self. If I often came to the Star Network world with my sisters, I would have discovered the existence of TOIAO online store a long time ago, and I wouldn't have had to look for offline agents on the Booker forum to buy things for me. It's all tears if I say too much. I just heard the clerk call out more than 500 numbers. How popular is this TOIAO online store? I feel that when it's our turn, there will definitely be no mooncakes to buy. I'm afraid there won't even be any crumbs left. The monkey brother pricked up his ears to eavesdrop and input barrages on the light screen panel. "Big brother monkey, don't come to TOIAO online store, all money lovers. The line is so long that you can't see the end at a glance. It's useless to come here." Big Wolf 33, is it so exaggerated? I just planned to enter the Star Network world with Sweetheart. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. I'm already in the Star Network world, but I accidentally filled in the wrong coordinates. I wrote Starlight Night Market as Starry Sky Night Market by mistake. I have to wait for a few minutes for the transmission to cool down. Broken into glass shards. The most feared thing for this company is queuing. As soon as I saw Brother Monkey's bullet screen, I quietly exited the Star Network world. "Sorry, cute little mooncake, let's meet at the tasting." After he sent the bullet screen, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. It's just queuing to buy things. What's the big deal? He is queuing here just to compete with hundreds of people for things, but if he waits for tasting in the Gongzi Farke live broadcast room, he will have to compete with thousands of people in speed. Instead of staying in the live broadcast room and fighting with countless people for mooncakes, he might as well stand here for a while and wait for his number to be called. Besides, he had just asked the clerk, and the other party swore that every customer in line could buy something, but the time to receive the things was different. In short, as long as he had the patience to queue up, he would definitely be able to buy mooncakes. Such a multiple choice question, even a fool would know how to choose. However, there are more smart people than Monkey Big Brother, and soon many money lovers reacted. Beauty speechless, damn. There are so many people queuing to buy things, I suddenly want to quit the Star Network world. Chris wants to eat 5 bowls. Speechless sister, don't quit. I asked others when I was queuing before, and they all said that, as long as they queued, they would definitely buy something. Whined like man. TSK, you dog who forgets friends for beauty. I privately asked you to help me bring 2 boxes of mooncakes, and you deliberately pretended to be dead and didn't reply to my message, but turned around and came to the live broadcast room to send barrages to comfort your sister. I love coriander. Why doesn't Fengnan come to the Star Network world to buy mooncakes? We money lovers are now queuing up and Teo. Little bear poo poo poo. Woo. Can someone help me ask what time Teo closes? This office animal is still working hard at the moment, and I have to wait until I get off work to log into the Star Network world. I'm so afraid that Teo will close a store after I get off work. Seeing this, Wen Jiu, who had just mixed several kinds of fillings, immediately replied, the business hours of Teo's offline store are from 9 AM to 12 PM, and from 2 PM to 6 PM. The Teo online store is open all day, so the money lovers who are still working don't have to worry. In fact, the business hours of Teo's online store were the same as those of the offline store before. It was only later that the number of customers buying things in the online store gradually increased and far exceeded that of the offline store, so she hired 2 more groups of employees to work in shifts with the previous employees all day. Little bear puff. This office worker shed tears of emotion. I will go to Star Network world to buy mooncakes as soon as I get off work. How it seems that this worker does not need to trouble friends to buy for her. As expected, we can always trust Sister Fake. Sister Fake always thinks about us money lovers. It's exaggerated. When Jiu was processing salted duck eggs, don't praise me too much. We should be moderate in our flattery. She didn't want to have some strange personalities for no reason. She was just an ordinary person who wanted to make money and become a rich woman. If the money lovers praised her to the sky, not to mention the black fans who bit her tightly, even she herself would be embarrassed to accept the praise. Sure enough, she had just finished her words when someone came out to say something sarcastic. Catmint33, I don't understand. How can you money lovers have the nerve to call a girl in her teens sister? Sister Baylion, get out of the live broadcasting industry of course. It's because the money grubbers are so shameless. They can even tolerate anchors with fake personalities, so how can they not tolerate calling a little girl sister? Seeing this, Wen Jiu just sneered, if you think it's shameful to call me sister, then why do you still call me Sister Baylan? Oh, I get it, girl, you want to attract my attention in this way. Congratulations, you succeeded. It just so happens that the legal department of Arbica Live is still compiling a list of people who spread rumors and slandered me. I'll tell them right now, don't forget to add you, a girl who plays with fire, to Centurial together. Chapter 1040. Do you eat mooncakes? Wen Jiu is not the type to just swallow her anger. She always fights back when she wants to, even when she was kidnapped by the people of the 3rd Military Region and was electrocuted if she resisted. She still endured the severe pain and fought back. She will take revenge. That's her. After she fought several black fans in a row and kicked them all away and blocked them, the barrage in the live broadcast room became much cleaner. Although there are still people with weird looks, she was busy making mooncakes and didn't pay much attention to them. She only appointed several money fans who were familiar to her as room managers and asked them to help clean up these black fans. It's ridiculous that she has been doing live broadcasts for such a long time, but she hasn't found a money fan as a room manager. But it's not a big problem. She has now appointed 6 or 7 money fans as room managers in a row, and the peace of the live broadcast room will depend on them in the future. Of course, those she appointed are either old fans who have been following the live broadcast, or big fans who are in the top 10 of the gift giving list. She also made a special inquiry to confirm that they all had time to be the room manager and would not neglect their duties, and then she gave the room manager position to others. Several money fans were her loyal fans, and they started working as soon as they got the room manager position so that she could make mooncakes with peace of mind. So she quickly made a lot of mooncakes. She first opened a tasting for the long-awaited money fans to taste, and then immersed herself in making mooncakes to be used as gifts. In short, after working hard in the kitchen for an afternoon, she finally finished 20 boxes of mooncakes. In addition, she also prepared a lot of unboxed mooncakes, which she put in the ziggy space to enjoy slowly, and the pineapple cakes she had been thinking about for a long time, which can be used to accompany tea. She was so beautiful just thinking about it. When Tumaksu came to the guest room to find her the next day, she picked up 10 boxes of mooncakes and gave them to her without saying a word. These are all mooncakes I made by myself, and there are 10 mooncakes in each box. 8 of them are sweet mooncakes, all with snowy skin and custard fillings. The remaining 2 are salty mooncakes, one with fresh meat and the other with lotus seed paste and egg yolk. Because Wen Jiu knew that the tradition of the Jade Rabbit clan was to eat sweet mooncakes, she only put 2 salty mooncakes in each box. She looked at Tumaksu's frowning face and whispered to him, "If you don't want to eat these salty mooncakes, remember to send them back to me. Don't throw them away. Wasting food is a shameful behavior." However, Tumaksu frowned and said, "That's not what I meant. I mean, there are so many mooncakes, and there are not many rabbits in my family. This is really too much to eat." He is a rabbit spirit who cherishes food very much, and he will definitely not throw away food. Even if he is facing strange salty mooncakes, he will not be cruel enough to throw them away. It's just a salty mooncake, what's the big deal? Anyway, he has a rabbit spirit that looks like a pig demon, so he can just take it and get rid of it. Oh, I forgot to say it just now. Wen Jiu added after hearing this, "These are for the 10 elders. Please remember to distribute them. 1 box for each rabbit. Don't take more." She was thinking about long-term cooperation in the future, and it was very important to establish good relationships in advance. If it were in the past, she might not be willing to do such a thing. After all, it takes money and effort to establish good relationships between people. She was reluctant to spend money on expensive gifts, and she really didn't like to please other people. So she didn't manage interpersonal relationships in the past, just adhering to the mentality of not dating her. Let it go. Everything was up to fate. But now it's different. The ingredients she uses are all from Tumaksu, and even the utensils are provided by the other party. In other words, she almost didn't spend any cost or star coins. She just spent some time making mooncakes seriously. Although these mooncakes didn't cost her star coins, she paid a lot of sincere heart. How did the saying go? A small gift is more valuable than a token of affection. After she finished speaking, Tumaksu's red eyes slightly widened. Are you telling the truth? Of course it's true. Wen Jiu put the mooncake gift box on the ground, and then turned around and took out 5 boxes of mooncakes. These 5 boxes are for Toshiro Shio, 2 Beng Beng and other rabbit spirits. Anyway, please distribute them, and let them share them among themselves. She met many rabbit spirits after coming to the Jade Rabbit clan, and it was natural for her to give them a gift during the Mid-Autumn Festival. After all, these rabbit spirits will be her workers in the future, and it is only right for her to give them some benefits to make everyone happy. After she finished speaking, she inadvertently glanced at Tumaksu, and the other party's eyes showed 3 parts of surprise, 4 parts of joy and 3 parts of confusion. Although it is very complicated, it is okay, as long as there is no contempt. Chujian also complained that she was stingy because she was reluctant to spend star coins. She felt that the other party didn't know the expensiveness of firewood, rice, oil and salt, because she didn't run the household. Besides, she didn't just give mooncakes as gifts. She also picked out a few things in the wisdom ring space. They were all great treasures that the Jade Rabbit clan didn't have, so she didn't think she was a stingy person. "Then I'll accept it." Tumaksu bowed respectfully. "I would like to thank you on behalf of the elders and other rabbit spirits." He really didn't expect Wen Jiu to prepare so much. Not only did he prepare gifts for the 10 elders of the Jade Rabbit clan, but he also prepared mooncakes for the other rabbit spirits. Although these mooncakes were not enough for the rabbit spirits to fill their teeth, the other party's thoughts were enough to move them. Just when he wanted to say a few polite words, Wen Jiu suddenly reached out and touched his rabbit ears. "Why are your ears drooping? Don't you like the mooncake gift box I gave you, or are you unhappy because you didn't receive a gift?" The tingling sensation like an electric shock frightened him, and he had to take a few steps back quickly. No, I just didn't react just now. He was surprised at Wen Jiu's thoughtfulness at that time, so his rabbit ears drooped down. However, before he could continue to explain, the other party pointed to the table next to him. "Don't worry, the gifts for you are over there, and you will definitely not be missing." Yes, even he has a Mid-Autumn Festival gift, but I, your brother, don't. Chu Jian came out of nowhere and started to speak sourly. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but clench his fists. "That's enough. Who was eating mooncakes in the kitchen yesterday and kept burping? Who took away the rabbit lantern I made with great difficulty?" She wanted to give Chu Jian a gift, but she had nothing to give at the moment, and she was helpless. Besides, isn't the Mid-Autumn Festival all about giving mooncakes, crabs, and tea? Isn't it enough that she let the other party enjoy a good meal in the kitchen? Chapter 1041. Do you eat mooncakes? Although Wen Jiu was really stingy and was reluctant to spend star coins, she still gave Chu Jian a Mid-Autumn Festival gift. "Here, your Mid-Autumn Festival gift," she said as she took out the gift from her wisdom ring space. "Don't say I treat you differently." She threw over a small and exquisite sachet, which she made last night after working overtime. Of course, she did not forget Yuruman, Kaioshishi and others, but she was far away on the desolate star and could not send the sachet over, so she thought about sending it after returning to planet 3047. Chu Jian did not seem to expect her to send a Mid-Autumn Festival gift, and her pair of beautiful purple peach eyes were full of surprise. Seeing this, she only raised her chin slightly. "I'm still very good to my own people. Don't say I'm a stingy person in the future." After saying that, she turned and walked towards the corridor without looking at Chu Jian, who was still stunned. However, the other party quickly came to his senses, immediately put the sachet into the wisdom ring space, picked up the gift box on the table, and then chased after him with a smile. "We will clean the house during the day of the Mid-Autumn Festival and offer the freshest fruits, vegetables, and flowers to the rabbit god. Then we will have a reunion dinner in the evening. After dinner, we will gather in the small square and the Great Elder will organize the moon worship ceremony." Two marks who walked away with the mooncake gift box sent by Wen Jiu, while enthusiastically introducing the Mid-Autumn Festival customs of the Jade Rabbit clan to the other party. He just handed the gift boxes for the elders and the gift boxes to be distributed to other rabbit spirits to Tu Beng Beng in Changle Hall, and asked him to distribute them to the hands of each elder. So what he is carrying now is what Wen Jiu gave to the Great Elder. As for what Wen Jiu wanted to give him, it was carried by Chu Jian. The main reason was that Wen Jiu sent him 5 boxes of moon cakes and pineapple cakes. He couldn't carry them all by himself, so he asked Chu Jian for help. In fact, the clan leader's home used to be Changle Hall, but my mother was weak and needed to rest, so our family moved out. He couldn't help but feel sad when he said this. In the past, during the Mid-Autumn Festival, his mother would make him yam cakes, saying that eating them would keep him safe and healthy. Since his mother passed away, he hasn't eaten yam cakes and has lost interest in the Mid-Autumn Festival. "Where do you live now?" Wen Jiu saw that Tu Marksu was in a low mood, so he opened his mouth at the right time to throw out a new topic. "I thought you lived in Changle Palace before." After saying that, the other party immediately pointed to the green mountain not far away. "It's at the foot of the back mountain. There are beautiful mountains and clear waters there, and few rabbits go there." She looked in the direction pointed by Tu Marksu and saw that the green mountain in front of her was shrouded in mist, and it seemed to be connected with a clear blue sky, forming a picture that made people unable to look away. She remembered that there seemed to be a tea garden in the back mountain of the Jade Rabbit clan, and she didn't know how the tea produced there tasted. If it tasted good and of good quality, she could notify Ming Yehin to collect the tea. She didn't forget that Wuao Food was going to launch a new product. Thinking about it, she asked to Su. The tea produced in the tea garden in the back mountain is all spiritual tea. The quality and taste are not comparable to ordinary tea. The other party proudly puffed up his chest. It just so happens that I still have some spiritual tea at home. I'll make it for you to try later and you'll know. The Jade Rabbit clan actually has 2 tea gardens, one for growing ordinary tea, and the other for growing spiritual tea. Ordinary tea is the tea that most rabbit spirits drink, and it is also the tea that Wen Jiu and Chu Jian have tasted before. Spiritual tea is specially provided for various elders, clan leaders, and powerful monsters such as Mirage Zing. Upon hearing this, Wen Jiu immediately agreed. She had tasted good when she drank the ordinary tea of the Jade Rabbit clan before, so this spiritual tea specially provided for the big boss must be even better. The 2 people and the rabbit talked and laughed like this, and soon arrived at the foot of the mountain in the back mountain. I saw a small courtyard with green tiles and white walls at the foot of the mountain, and curling smoke kept coming out of the chimney and flying into the sky. There are also several sweet-scented osmanthus trees planted outside the courtyard. You can smell the sweet-scented osmanthus fragrance before you get close. Wen Jiu was chatting with Chu Jian when he suddenly saw a grey rabbit jumping out of the bushes by the road. Brother Zuxu. With a crisp and childish voice, Su was instantly knocked to the ground by the rabbit. Seeing this, Wen Jiu hurried over to check the situation. What's wrong? Hiss, Xiaoxi, get out of the way. Su took the rabbit lying on his chest aside. Didn't I tell you to behave yourself today? Why are you running around and scaring the guests? After he put the little rabbit aside, he quickly stood up, patted the dust twice, and picked up the gift box that fell on the ground. Because when Jiu and Chu Jian were coming to visit today, he specifically told the little rabbit yesterday to stay at home and wait for him. However, it turned out that the other party didn't listen to his words at all. This is my distant cousin, Tu Dangxi, he explained to Wen Jiu when he saw her puzzled look. Her parents are grey rabbits from the grey rabbit tribe of the mushroom forest. They both entered into retreat cultivation some time ago, so my mother-in-law brought her to the Jade Rabbit tribe. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but look at the little rabbit curiously. The rabbit named Tu Dangxi was looking at her with round eyes. So she took out a bottle of sugar pills from the Ziji space, poured a handful of sugar pills into her palm, and then she squatted down with a smile and said to the other party, "Little Z, come here to eat candy." Tu Dangxi was not like other rabbit spirits who were at a loss. Instead, he jumped towards her with his legs, not afraid of strangers at all. After eating the sugar pills in her palm, the other party rubbed her hand with his furry head, which made her feel a little doting. So she picked up the rabbit and said, "Xiaoxu, let me borrow your cousin to play with for a while." Okay. Tumaksu looked at the rabbit with mixed feelings and saw that the other party took advantage of Wen Jiu's inattention and showed him a provocative look. Sure enough, he knew that this little rabbit was still not honest. The other party usually liked to use this trick to confuse his mother-in-law, and now he even sold cuteness in front of Wen Jiu. Damn, it's really damned. But he couldn't say anything at this moment, so he could only remember this breath and continue to lead the way. Because everyone in the tribe knew that his mother had to rest, there was only their family at the foot of the mountain behind the mountain. Even though his mother had passed away for many years, no other rabbit spirits had settled nearby. Chapter 1042 Snowskin Mooncake 1. Although today is a family reunion day, the rabbit spirits are all staying at home to celebrate the festival, but the elder still stayed in Changle Hall dutifully and did not return to his residence until the evening. Therefore, the cleaning that should be done during the day, as well as picking vegetables, fruits, and flowers for the rabbit god, were all done by Wen Jiu, Tumaksu and Chu Jian. However, Wen Jiu was not dissatisfied. She thought it was quite interesting. After all, it was a festival, and she had to participate in traditional activities to have a sense of ritual. Besides, cleaning was simply a small matter for her. When she first opened the store, she led people to do the cleaning, so she didn't think it was troublesome or tiring. As for picking fresh vegetables, fruits, and flowers to offer to the rabbit god, this kind of thing was not a big deal for her. Tumax's house had planted a lot of vegetables, fruits, and flowers outside, and she just had to pick them according to what the other party said. So she quickly finished the work with the other party in Chujian, and after lunch, she went to the tea garden in the back mountain for a stroll. It can be said that it was a very fulfilling day. Here, come and try the tomatoes I planted myself. I guarantee they are better than those planted by other rabbit spirits. Today's reunion dinner was naturally prepared by Tumaxu, but Wen Jiu still went into the kitchen to help, and Chu Jian was responsible for taking the rabbits to play. Wen Jiu picked up a washed tomato as soon as she heard what Tumaxu said. After she took a bite, her eyes lit up instantly. This tomato is juicy and sweet and sour. It is indeed better than those planted by other rabbit spirits. The key is that the skin is thin and the meat is rich, which is particularly refreshing to eat. Not bad, right? Tumaxu said while throwing ingredients into the pot. I'm not only the best rabbit spirit in the tribe to cook, but also the best rabbit spirit to grow crops and take care of flowers and plants. He has full talent in cooking and planting, so he can confidently say that no rabbit spirit is better than him. Not bad, not bad. Wen Jiu ate the tomato in his hand. By the way, I just saw you picked a lot of herbs. Are you going to make soup? Hearing this, he nodded and replied, yes, if you have time, please help me wash those herbs. He was making the carrot cake that Tudong she loved the most, and he really couldn't spare his hands to wash the herbs for a while. Fortunately, Wen Jiu was willing to help him. Without saying a word, the other party took the herbs and walked to the side to scoop clean water to wash them. But just when he was seriously mixing the fillings of the carrot cake, he suddenly heard Wen Jiu asking about the names and effects of these herbs. So he wiped his hands and replied, what you are holding now is the cold moon grass, which has the effect of clearing heat and detoxifying, calming the mind, and tastes very delicious. It is most suitable for making soup. Wen Jiu held the cold moon grass in his hand and looked at it for a moment and then continued to ask, Xiaoxu, do you know what the falling moon flower is? As soon as her voice fell, she saw Tumaxu stunned. The other party seemed to have not expected that she knew about the existence of the falling moon flower. The falling moon flower is a flower that can confuse the demons. Many demons cannot resist the fragrance of the falling moon flower. Tumaxu was silent for a while and then lowered her voice to explain to her, you also know that our Jade Rabbit clan has little combat power, but even a weak rabbit spirit like us can become violent after smelling the fragrance of the falling moon flower. Before, there was a case where a rabbit spirit accidentally inhaled the fragrance of the falling moon flower, had hallucinations, and suddenly attacked other demons. So Lord Shen removed all the falling moon flowers in the green grass garden to prevent demons from accidentally inhaling the falling moon flowers and going crazy in the future. As for whether there are still falling moon flowers in other places, I don't know. Miss Wen, although I don't know where you learned about the existence of the falling moon flower, I advise you not to try to find the falling moon flower, because the falling moon flower is really not a good thing. Many demons will fall into a violent state of not recognizing their relatives after accidentally inhaling the fragrance of the falling moon flower. Tumaxu thought Wen Jiu wanted to pick the falling moon flower, so he said a lot of words earnestly. However, the other party smiled and waved his hand. You misunderstood. I don't mean to look for the falling moon flower. I learned about the existence of this thing from Lord Shen before, and I asked you a few more questions out of curiosity. He was relieved when he heard this, because he was afraid that Wen Jiu would be interested in the falling moon flower. However, just in case, he still reminded Wen Jiu a few more words, and then continued to concentrate on cooking. After all, today is the Mid-Autumn Festival reunion dinner, and Wen Jiu and Chu Jian are visiting, so of course he has to show his cooking skills. So in addition to the traditional dishes that are essential for the Mid-Autumn Festival, he also plans to cook a few meat dishes that humans love. Just when Tumaxu was full of confidence and ready to show off his skills, Wen Jiu, who was standing aside washing herbs, fell into silence. It seems that Shenzing never told Tumaxu why she turned into a wolf, but this matter is not a big deal. Maybe there is a reason why the other party did not say it. She is now mainly worried about the relationship between the falling moonflower and LV Zuiying. Why does the other party have the fragrance of the falling moonflower? You know, the falling moonflower only grows in places with spiritual energy, which means that only the desolate star has the falling moonflower. Could it be that LV Zuiying has been to the desolate star before? No. Even if LV Zuiying really came to the desolate star before, it is difficult for the other party to know that the falling moonflower can confuse the demon race, and it is even more difficult to use the falling moonflower to guide Chu Jiayan's emotions. If LV Zuiying really has so many abilities, why would she be just an insignificant lackey? So she thinks that, if she really wants to guess deeper, it should be the third military region and the falling moonflower. Thinking of this, Wen Jiu found a reason to leave the kitchen, and then went straight to the main hall to find Chu Jiayan. After all, she has never been to the research institute of the third military region, so there are some things she has to ask the other party. But before she entered the main hall, she heard Chu Jiayan's voice. How come you can't even play the roller? You're even dumber than Wen Jiu. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but sneer. Good fellow, she was busy in the kitchen, and the other party was saying bad things about her. So she half closed her eyes, and gave birth to a vine, and attacked directly towards Chu Jiayan's position. The other party was still patiently teaching Rabbit to play the rabbit roller, as if he didn't notice that she was attacking with the vine. Just when the vine was about to touch Chu Jiayan, the other party suddenly grabbed Rabbit and rolled to the left, perfectly avoiding the attack. Seeing this, she just leaned against the doorframe with her arms folded and continued to control the vine to attack Chu Jiayan. Chapter 1043 Snowskin Mooncake 2. Wen Jiu and Chu Jiayan didn't fight in the end because they had just tested each other for a few rounds when they saw the elder coming in from outside the yard. The two were naturally embarrassed to fight in front of the elder, so they quickly restored their usual friendly appearance of brother and sister. Fortunately, the elder didn't say much about it, but just pulled Wen Jiu to sit down, and then seriously asked about the cooperation. When the man and the rabbit had almost finished chatting, two marks who also filled the table. Looking at the table of delicious dishes, Wen Jiu immediately opened the light screen panel, and took several photos to send to Yuruman, so that the other party could rest assured and recuperate well without always worrying about her situation outside. Let us thank the rabbit god for his gift together, and hope that we will still be safe and smooth in the coming year. As usual, the elder read out the blessing before the reunion dinner, and she listened carefully and followed it like two Marksu. Festivals should still have a sense of ritual. After the blessing was finished, she began to feast. Tu Marksu not only cooked the traditional food of the Jade Rabbits, but also cooked several delicious meat dishes for her to enjoy. However, she looked at the rosy and shiny braised pork in front of her, and decisively stretched her chopsticks to the stir-fried shredded carrots on the side. The carrots were cut into evenly thick and thin strips, fried to be crispy and tender, and tasted very sweet. The fruits and vegetables of the Jade Rabbits are indeed much more delicious than those grown by humans. Every time she tasted them, she felt extremely happy. On the one hand, she was happy to be able to eat such delicious food, and on the other hand, she was happy for future cooperation. It was just that when Jiu had only eaten 2 bites of shredded carrots, when she heard two Marksu ask a little aggrievedly, "Why don't you eat the braised pork I made? This is a meat dish I made specifically for you." Point, is that so? She immediately picked up a piece of braised pork and put it in the bowl. Why didn't you say so earlier? She didn't know that this was made specifically for her, and she thought that the Jade Rabbits would also eat meat during festivals. The oily braised pork tasted very soft and elastic, just like holding a piece of jelly in the mouth. The delicious and salty flavor of the meat made her chew again and again. The ratio of fat and lean meat was well matched, so she didn't feel tired chewing, and only felt the aroma of meat hitting her head. It was sweet and soft, and melted in her mouth, making her unable to stop. After eating several pieces of braised pork in a row, she attacked other dishes. Chu Jiayan next to her was also eating happily. He didn't even have time to chat with her. He stared at the dishes on the table, and picked up his chopsticks. His bulging cheeks never deflated. I almost forgot. The elder took out a jar of wine while eating. This is the Osmanthus wine I brewed last year. It tastes just right this year. Do you two want to try it? Hearing this, Wen Jiu nodded decisively. She had wanted to brew some wine before, but she was always busy and couldn't spare the time to brew wine, so she gave up. She took the cup handed over by the elder with a smile. The elder filled her with osmanthus wine, as if he was afraid that it would not be enough for her to drink, which made her smile a little deeper. There were a few osmanthus flowers floating in the clear and bright wine. She smelled the faint aroma of wine before she tasted it, as well as the faint but fascinating flower fragrance. So she took a sip along the edge of the cup, and the pure and soft wine taste instantly bloomed on the tip of her tongue, and the fragrance of osmanthus lingered for a long time. TSK, this wine is really good, she couldn't help but sigh, smacking her lips. The fragrance of osmanthus is perfectly integrated into the wine, and you can savor it for a long time after taking a sip. After the words fell, Tumaksu said quickly, "Of course, my mother-in-law is the best rabbit in the tribe to brew wine." After hearing this, the elder only smiled faintly, without denying it or admitting it. But she could still taste from the osmanthus wine that the other party's winner-making skills were indeed very superb. Just as Wen Jiu was savoring the taste of the osmanthus wine, Chu Jian frowned after smelling it, then calmly picked up the cup and put it aside, with no intention of tasting the osmanthus wine together. His behavior did not attract the attention of others, so he just continued to concentrate on eating. When he was almost full, Wen Jiu suddenly handed him a mooncake. He remembered that this was a snowy mooncake made by the other party, and it seemed to be filled with some kind of custard. Anyway, he had never eaten it before. It happened that he still had some room in his stomach, so he decisively took the snowy mooncake. This snowy mooncake was different from the mooncakes he had eaten before. The pure outer skin like white jade really made him unable to take his eyes away. He held it in his hand and looked at it for a long time before carefully biting it. The slightly cool taste made him feel refreshed, and the fatigue in his body seemed to have completely disappeared at this moment. The outer skin was soft and glutinous, but not sticky at all, so he easily broke the outer skin and tasted the sweet filling inside. The custard was sweet but not greasy, and it melted in his mouth, and he didn't even need to chew. A rich and pure milk fragrance filled his mouth, and he felt relaxed all over as he ate, and his mood also became high. It seemed that all his troubles were dissipated at this moment, and now he was happy. Seeing that Chu Jian was eating with great concentration, Wen Jiu took another snowskin mooncake and handed it to Rabbit. Because Rabbit was still in the stage of awakening his spiritual intelligence, but unable to transform, he needed others to feed him every time he ate. The elder had fed Rabbit a lot of food just now, but most of it was carrot cake and stir-fried vegetables. Although it was delicious, it would be greasy if you ate too much. Therefore, as soon as she handed the snowskin mooncake to Rabbit, the other party was so happy that he flew up and took a bite. In just a few seconds, the rabbit with a mouthful of milk yellow raised his head and said, "Great, great. I can't eat you to death." Tumaksu glanced at Tudanxi with disdain. He only hoped that Tudanxi's parents would be released from confinement as soon as possible, so that he could throw this annoying cousin back to the Grey Rabbit clan. However, he was also curious about the taste of snowy mooncakes, so he picked up a piece of snowy mooncake after he finished speaking, wanting to see what the difference was between this mooncake and ordinary mooncakes. But he had just taken a bite of the snowy mooncake when he saw Tudanxi twisting his butt at him. "Lu brother Zuxu big bad guy." The other party twisted his, but while humming and imitated his tone just now to fight back. "I can't eat you to death." Seeing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help laughing. In fact, it was good for her to come to the Jade Rabbit clan. She was busy all day when she was on planet 3047, and it was rare for her to have such a leisure time. As she thought about it, she picked up a piece of snowy mooncake and ate it. The sweet taste instantly swept away her sorrow, leaving only a heart full of joy. After having a good meal and a few drinks, it's time to head to the small square to participate in the moon worship ceremony. Chapter 1044 Moon Sacrifice Ceremony 1. The moon worship ceremony is held every mid-autumn festival by the Jade Rabbit clan, and all the rabbit spirits of the Jade Rabbit clan must attend, even the little rabbit cubs who have not yet learned the art of transformation. Therefore, when Wen Jiu followed Tumaksu to the square, it was already a sea of rabbits. Looking around, there were either rabbit spirits with their ears erected, or little rabbit cubs running around mischievously. She and Chujian were both brought to the edge by Tumaksu. Although this place was a little far from the altar, they could see the scene on the altar clearly, which was the most suitable place for the two humans who came to join in the fun. After all, they were not like the rabbit spirits, who had to pray for the protection of the rabbit god and the moon god. They came purely to watch the fun, and as for participating in the worship, they forgot about it. Not to mention that Chujian had a sneer attitude towards any ghosts and gods. Anyway, she would not worship any gods who were not from her family. Although she was reborn here, she still remembered the feelings of her previous master and disciple. Once you enter the master's door, you will have master-disciple relationship for life. If she wanted to worship, she would only worship the gods worshipped by the sect. As for other gods, no matter how effective they are, they have nothing to do with her. Therefore, she did not object to Tumaksu's arrangement, and just stood there with Chujian waiting for the moon worship ceremony to begin. Chujian actually had no interest in the moon worship ceremony. He mainly saw that Wen Jiu was interested in this ceremony, so he agreed to watch it with him. Just when he was a little bored and wanted to open the light screen panel to play games, he suddenly keenly noticed that someone was peeking at him and Wen Jiu. So he immediately pretended to lower his head to brush off the dust on his shoulders, and took the opportunity to see the direction of the sight. When he raised his eyes, there was a middle-aged rabbit spirit standing under the banyan tree not far away. The other party was talking to other rabbit spirits, while pretending to cast a glance at them unintentionally. Seeing this, he pretended to help Wen Jiu tidy up his clothes, leaned over and whispered in his ear, "There's a rabbit spirit over there that's been peeking at you. He looks sneaky and strange." The main reason was that he hadn't met the other elders of the Jade Rabbit clan with Wen Jiu, so he didn't know that the rabbit spirit that was peeking was the fourth elder. But even if he knew that the rabbit spirit was the fourth elder, he would still quietly remind Wen Jiu to pay attention. As soon as the voice fell, Wen Jiu looked in the direction that Chujian pointed without saying a word, and just bumped into the fourth elder, who raised his head to peek at her. I don't know if the fourth elder was guilty of being a thief, but the other party actually changed his usual cold expression, didn't look at her with that contemptuous look, just lowered his head and hurried away. Seeing this, she was too lazy to stop the fourth elder and ask him more questions. It wasn't because she suddenly became open-minded, but because the moon worship ceremony was about to begin, and she really didn't want to cause trouble at this time. So she just leaned in front of Chujian and whispered to him about some of the previous things. After all, she and Chujian didn't know how long they would stay in the Jade Rabbit clan, so she had to let him know the situation in the Jade Rabbit clan in a simple way, so as not to cause trouble accidentally. The two chatted like this, and after about 10 minutes, the elder changed into a goose yellow robe and walked up to the altar with a firm look in his eyes. Silence. The elder changed his previous kindness and amiability during the reunion dinner and only looked at the rabbit spirits standing under the altar seriously. Today is not only the Mid-Autumn festival of our tribe, but also the day to worship the ancestor rabbit god. According to the custom of our tribe, we must first worship the moon god to show respect, and then worship the ancestor rabbit god to ask for protection and blessings. She spoke slowly, her tone full of determination and a trace of remaining gentleness. Although she has said these words countless times, she will still say them carefully before each moon worship ceremony. One is to let the rabbit spirits remember them, and the other is to let the little rabbits know. After she finished saying everything she should say, she raised the special magic weapon in her hand, pointed it at the bright moon hanging high in the night sky, and whispered the obscure spell again. Do you think there are really gods in this world? Wen Jiu was watching the great elder presiding over the moon worship ceremony seriously, and Chujian suddenly said this. She turned her head away. Believe it, why not? Not to mention that she had practiced against the will of heaven just to become an immortal. Now that she has seen so many demons, why doesn't she believe that there are really gods in the world? But she can also understand why Chujian asked this question. After all, the other party had experienced too many bad things before, and was once desperate to pin everything on the gods. But in the end, it was not the gods who helped Chujayaran escape from the sea of suffering, but the other party himself. Chujayaran opened his mouth after hearing her answer, but the other party didn't say anything in the end. Seeing this, she also fell silent, and had no intention of continuing the conversation. The main reason was that she and Chujayaran had different positions on this issue. Instead of arguing about the existence of gods, it was better to pretend that nothing happened and remain silent. It just so happened that at this moment, the rabbit spirits all knelt down to worship the stone statue on the altar. Such a grand scene was quite impactful to them, and successfully distracted the attention of the two people, and also alleviated the embarrassment of having nothing to say just now. This is the first time I've seen such a scene. Wen Jiu took the initiative to break the silence. If it wasn't impolite to take pictures at this time, I really want to take a few pictures and send them to the group. After speaking, Chujayaran couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth. Aren't you good at drawing? It's the same if I draw it for them someday. Not impossible. She smacked her lips. Look, the rabbit spirits next to the great elder have started dancing. There was a rabbit spirit standing on each side of the altar. They raised their canes inlaid with moon crystals and began to dance to the firm voice of the great elder. Seeing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but watch in fascination. In just a few minutes, suddenly several rabbit spirits came up to the altar with flower baskets and walked quickly while scattering flowers at the stone statue of the rabbit god. The night wind was slightly cool, blowing people's hearts. The sweet-scented osmanthus scattered by the rabbit spirits blended the fragrance of the flowers into the breeze. For a while, the small square was filled with the fragrance of sweet-scented osmanthus, and the rabbit spirits in the audience were intoxicated by it. However, Chujayaran frowned in displeasure, and then took out a special mask from the wisdom ring space, and put it on. Wen Jiu, who was watching the moon worship ceremony, saw Chujayaran's actions, and remembered what she wanted to ask him before. But before she could open her mouth, someone suddenly patted her on the shoulder. She turned her head, and saw Shenzing standing behind her with an indifferent face, as if she owed him millions of star coins. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1045 Moon Sacrifice Ceremony 2. The appearance of Shenzing disrupted Wen Jiu's original plan, so she had to give up watching the moon worship ceremony and follow him. She originally wanted to take Chujayaran with her, but Shenzing refused to take anyone else with her, so she had to give up the idea. But before she left, she still gave Chujayaran a few words, asking him to wait until the moon worship ceremony was over before going to look for Tu Marksu. It's not that she didn't trust Shenzing, but seeing that he was so anxious, she wanted to inform Tu Marksu. She had just finished her words of advice when she was skillfully carried by Shenzing and flew into the night sky. Old Shen, where have you been these days? Wen Jiu had long been accustomed to being carried around by Shenzing, so she was not only not uncomfortable at the moment, but she could also chat with him. After saying that, Shenzing only replied lightly, I'm going to find out why you can't turn back into a human. She regained her serious expression after hearing this. Isn't it because I don't have enough spiritual power that I can't return to human form? Of course, this reason was her own guess, because she had previously taught Chujayaran how to transform between a human and a cat, and used spiritual power to help him suppress the mutation, so she thought that her inability to return to human form was caused by insufficient spiritual power. Yes and no. Shenzing seemed to be in a low mood. He didn't joke with her like usual. He just told her the reason seriously. The lack of spiritual power is only a small factor. The most important thing is that the blood in your body is too chaotic. Do you remember that I told you before that you have several kinds of auras? One of them is naturally the aura of the snow wolf. For this reason, I went to the snow wolf tribe and found a few pure snow wolves to confirm it. The other is the aura of pure humans, which is the same as your brother's aura. It's just that your brother's aura is also very strange. In addition to the aura of humans, he also has the aura of the cat demon tribe. But he is different from you, in that he only has these 2 auras, while you have 4 completely different auras. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. She thought she was the same as Chu Jian before, nothing more than the aura of humans plus the aura of the demon tribe. As a result, Shenzing suddenly gave her a surprise and told her that she had 4 different auras. Good guy, it turns out that she is still an ultimate hybrid. What are the other 2 auras? Although she was shocked, she still tried her best to stay calm and continued to ask Shenzing. After she finished speaking, the other party was silent for a moment before continuing. One of them is still the aura of the demon clan, but it is too faint. You also have the aura of the snow wolf clan. This mixture caused me to fail to distinguish it before. As for the other one, it is so faint that it is almost non-existent. If I were not sensitive enough to the aura, I'm afraid that others would not be able to detect it at all. Shenzing talked for a long time, but it seemed like nothing, and she directly turned into King Jiji. Why don't you tell me, what kind of aura of the demon clan is this? Don't keep me in the dark, okay? She was so anxious that she hit the other party's waist a few times. Of course, the strength she used was like tickling, which would not hurt Shenzing at all. I want to say it too. The other party patted her back dissatisfiedly. I told you that I couldn't remember it. If I could remember it, I would have told you earlier. Okay, people who have lost their memory are confident when they speak. Wen Jiu became even more depressed after hearing this. What was more uncomfortable than being an ultimate hybrid was not knowing what kind of blood she was mixed with. For this reason, she even thought of going to an institution for testing. What if high technology could give her an answer? However, just as she was thinking about it, Shenzing suddenly patted her on the back again. Don't worry, I came to you just to find out this, the other party said here and sighed lightly. The shameless old thing who insisted on asking me for a rare magic weapon before he agreed to come out of the mountain to help Dixio Valley. After hearing this, she couldn't help but be a little stunned. She thought that Shenzing was going for a stroll, but she didn't expect that he not only went to the Snow Wolf clan, but also went to Menghu Ridge to ask Behu to come out of the mountain. She was about to thank Shenzing, but the other party interrupted her abruptly. I didn't go to ask Behu for help just for you. You are not worthy of me doing this, you know? Shenzing's tone became indifferent again. I want to know where the other 2 auras on your body come from, so I traveled thousands of miles to Menghu Ridge to use the magic weapon to make Behu come out of the mountain. Well, since the other party has said this, she is too lazy to say those useless polite words. Anyway, her and Shenzing have the same goal. No matter what the other party's mentality is, this matter will not be a loss for her. So she flew with Shenzing in silence and soon arrived at the place where DXIU was. It was still peaceful and quiet here, and the stars in the sky were refreshing. Various small animals lived near DXIU and were not affected by their arrival at all. They just slept soundly and made high hollow snoring sounds. Seeing this, Wen Jiu's fluctuating emotions calmed down in an instant. DXIU is indeed the legendary sacred tree. Just standing near it, she could feel the restlessness in her body being calmed down. You son of a bitch, you've been waiting for me until I almost fell asleep. Why are you flying so slowly? I should have gone to pick someone up earlier. She had just stood still for a while when she saw a snow-white tiger walking slowly towards her. It was not uncommon for the other party to speak human language, but where did the ancient Chinese Sichuan and Chongqing accent come from? She hadn't heard words with an accent for a long time, which made her feel an indescribable sense of familiarity for a while. I'm weak to begin with, and I have to carry someone to fly, so my speed is naturally not fast. Shenzing lied without blushing. You should be more elegant in front of DXIU, and there are still many cubs here. In fact, he could fly very fast with Wen Jiu on his back, and the other party was not heavy at all, so it was nothing to him. But he still chose to fly slowly, so that he could explain the matter to Wen Jiu first. After saying that, the white tiger just snorted and transformed into a human. Don't bother me all day. Don't I know you're a brute? You're just lazy. Forget it, let's not talk about it for now. Quickly solve her problem. I have to go back to sleep. Wen Jiu looked at the burly and tall man in front of him and couldn't help but pursed his lips to control himself from laughing. There was no other way. Who wouldn't smile mysteriously when seeing a man with animal ears and a tail? Chapter 1046 Fresh Meat Mooncake 1. I want 4 boxes of fresh meat mooncakes. I'm a mid-level member, so I can buy 1 more box. Mid-level members, don't come here to join the fun. We senior members haven't bought any yet. Wait until we've bought some before queuing up. I say, you mid-level and senior members, stop squeezing in. Let me, a platinum member, buy mooncakes first. Please give me 10 boxes of snowy mooncakes and 8 boxes of fresh meat and lotus paste and pack them in the most premium gift boxes. Since Teo entered the East Lake Mall, it has attracted a high flow of customers. There are only 7 or 8 days left before the Mid-Autumn Festival, and the mall is full of customers who come to stroll and shop. But the place with the most customers is still Teo, opened by Wen Jiu. At this moment, all the customers in the front are those who have applied for cards, while those who have not applied for cards are queuing in the long queue at the back. There is no way money really allows you to do whatever you want. Although a small number of customers who have not applied for cards complained, the vast majority of customers had no objection to this. Because when Jiu had set the rules long ago, customers who have applied for the card can buy limited time products first, and this rule was specially written on the electronic promotional panel at the door. After all, customers who have applied for the card spend more star coins, so there must be some benefits that are different from ordinary customers, otherwise who would be willing to spend a lot of money to apply for the card. Don't worry, everyone. Please line up first and come one by one. Kiwi, who was in charge of the cashier, couldn't help but be a little flustered, but she quickly adjusted her state. After all, she was transferred from the offline store of AOS Pharmaceuticals, and it's not like she hasn't seen the scene of customers flocking in. You know, when AOS Pharmaceuticals launched civilian cold medicine some time ago, countless customers came to the offline store every day to buy cold medicine. And it was because she could maintain order in the chaos that she was valued by Ziziu and transferred to Teo to help. The main reason was that Teo recently launched a limited time and limited quantity Mid-Autumn Festival mooncake, which made the original 2 bionic people and other employees too busy. Therefore, Ziziu personally selected a few capable people and transferred them to Teo to help Miss Tao and others sell mooncakes. And she was one of them. Hello, I'm an intermediate member of Teo. This is my membership card interface. Please give me 4 boxes of fresh meat mooncakes and 4 boxes of snowskin mooncakes. Ren Yuan rushed to Donghu Mall early in the morning, fearing that she would miss the opportunity to buy mooncakes at Teo. In order to eat Teo's things often, she even bought a new property in Donghu district and moved her family here directly. She was even ready to change jobs. It happened that a private military academy in Donghu district was recruiting teachers. She got the opportunity after the interview. She only had to wait until her term of office was over this semester before she could leave and come to work. As soon as the words fell, Kiwi, who was standing at the cashier, hurriedly operated the machine. Okay, 4 boxes of fresh meat and 4 boxes of snowskin. Please wait for a moment. When she heard this, she skillfully walked to the food collection channel next to her, waiting for another employee to bring her the mooncakes she had selected. She knew Teo was going to sell mooncakes a few days ago, and she even got 2 mooncakes to try out because she knew them well. The soft and glutinous snowskin mooncakes tasted very sweet, and the crispy fresh meat mooncakes were no less delicious. Both flavors became her favorites, and she couldn't tell which was better, no matter how she savored them. So when she learned that Teo was going to sell ready-made mooncakes today, she rushed to the store as soon as possible and decisively decided to buy both. Only children make choices, and adults of course want both. Just as she was licking her lips to savor the taste of the mooncakes, she suddenly heard a very familiar voice. Hello, I'm Teacher Lee from 3047 College. I'm here to pick up the mooncakes we ordered. Lee Kinson had just rushed over from 3047 College, but she didn't show any signs of fatigue, but instead had a brilliant smile. Because when she thought of having delicious mooncakes during the Mid-Autumn Festival, she couldn't help but smile up. But all this is thanks to Wen Jiu and Yu Rumen. If the former hadn't remembered the help of teachers and classmates, she wouldn't have been able to eat the mooncakes produced by Teo for free. So before she came to Teo to pick up the mooncakes today, she dutifully went to the relevant departments and specifically asked about Shigang's situation. After learning that Shigang had been preliminarily convicted and would be sent to Uralstar, she quickly sent a message to Wen Jiu, telling him not to worry about the previous things. Although Wen Jiu hadn't replied to her message yet, she thought that this step was enough, and any more would seem deliberate. However, this did not affect her plan to visit Yu Rumen in the hospital later. If the other party hadn't been at the registration site, I'm afraid that Wen Jiu, a good seedling, would have been driven away by Zhao Xian's Elmhead. So she must thank Yu Rumen, thanks to her flexible mind and discerning eyes. Speaking of which, Zhao Xian really doesn't know how to adapt. Wen Jiu is a rare dual system ability, so it doesn't matter if he doesn't have money to pay tuition. Oh, forget it, let's not talk about the past. Lee Kinson's thoughts were not yet in place, and suddenly someone patted her shoulder. She couldn't help but turn her head in confusion, only to see Ren Yuan smiling at her. Are you Ren Yuan? The doubts in her eyes were instantly dispelled by joy. Oh my god, long time no see. After the words fell, the other party also replied happily, yes, long time no see. I thought you didn't recognize me. If she said she could recognize her, she would definitely recognize her, but she remembered that Ren Yuan changed colleges because of marriage a few years ago, and she didn't come to Dongfang City often afterwards. So when she saw the other party, she thought she was dazzled. Hey, I just heard you say you're here to pick up mooncakes. Ren Yuan pulled her to the side of the food collection channel. When did the 3047 Academy become so generous that they don't eat mooncakes made by students during the Mid-Autumn Festival, but order mooncakes instead? I still remember one year when I received a mooncake distributed by the cafeteria. I vomited for 7 days after taking a bite. My husband thought that the measures were not in place, and I got pregnant. Sure enough, every teacher who resigned from the 3047 Academy will never forget the cafeteria that specializes in dark cuisine. She couldn't help but smile when she thought of this. That was all in the past. Now the cafeteria dishes have been improved a lot. I go to the cafeteria to eat every day. But this mooncake was not ordered by the academy, but was given to us by a student as a gift. I really have to thank Wen Jiu, the little cooking master, for improving the cafeteria dishes by his own efforts, which made her face when chatting with teachers from other academies. Chapter 1047 Fresh Meat Mooncake 2. Ren Yuan never thought that the cafeteria of 3047 College would be improved, and she would even receive mooncakes from Teo during the Mid-Autumn Festival. She used to be glad that she had left 3047 College and no longer had to be a guinea pig for the students who ran the cafeteria and could eat to her heart's content in the cafeteria of the new college. However, now she actually felt regretful, and she even had the urge to return to 3047 College. Seeing Lee Kinson putting boxes of mooncakes into the Ziggy space, she could no longer suppress her thoughts. By the way, Sister Lee, is 3047 College still recruiting teachers recently? Although she didn't really believe that the cafeteria had improved, she looked at the boxes of mooncakes in front of her and wanted to go back to work at 3047 College immediately. Not recruiting much recently, Lee Kinson saw through Ren Yuan's thoughts at a glance. The college now only recruits teachers from military regions, and the quota for ordinary teachers was full 3 months ago. Thank you Wen Jiu. Really thank you Wen Jiu. She could finally show off in front of the teachers from other colleges. You know, she had only been ridiculed by these teachers before. There was no way. Everyone knew that the cafeteria of 3047 College was extremely bad, so every time she communicated with teachers from other colleges, she would inevitably be ridiculed by these teachers. Although Ren Yuan was not as malicious as other teachers, she still felt a little unhappy when she talked to them about the cafeteria. After all, the cafeteria is also part of 3047 College, and as a veteran teacher of 3047 College, she would naturally feel dissatisfied with these words. Simply put, you can scold your own children, but you can't accept others pointing fingers. Fortunately, 3047 College recruited Wen Jiu and successfully saved their cafeteria of 3047 College, which made her face in front of teachers from other colleges. After saying that, Wen Jiu couldn't help but sighed in disappointment. But I'm not a teacher from the military region. It seems that I can't go back in the short term. She was also thinking about going back to 3047 College to see if the cafeteria had really improved, as Lee Kinson said. How about this? It's almost noon now, why don't I take you back to the college to have lunch? The other party seemed to see what she was thinking. Anyway, the cafeteria doesn't prohibit people from outside the college from entering. We haven't seen each other for a long time, so we can just eat and chat for a while. When she heard this, she immediately agreed, because she asked for leave to come to TOIAO today, so it didn't matter if she didn't go back to the college to work. So she followed Lee Kinson on the floating bus, and it took more than half an hour to arrive at 3047 College. She hadn't set foot here for a long time. Looking at the familiar scene in front of her, she suddenly felt an inexplicable emotion. Thinking back to the time when the teaching system of 3047 College was backward, the conditions in all aspects were not as good as those of private colleges, so most teachers were unwilling to work here. At that time, she was assigned to 3047 College in order to gain experience. Today, 3047 College has not only received government funding, which has greatly improved the teaching system and the treatment of teachers, but also improved the canteen, dormitory, etc. When other private colleges were still recruiting teachers, the ordinary teacher quota of 3047 College was full, and only teachers from military regions were accepted to apply. It's really unpredictable. Wen Jiu followed Lee Kinson to the office building first, and the other party wanted to put the mooncakes they brought back into the warehouse. So she went to talk to the teacher she had a good relationship with before, and learned about the recent situation of 3047 College. But while chatting, the other party suddenly picked up a lunchbox and waved it at her. Okay, you can ask directly about other things later. It's time for dinner and I have to go to the canteen to grab food. If I go too late, those students will grab it all. Thinking back to the beginning, she and this teacher avoided the canteen like snakes and scorpions, and would rather drink nutrient solution in the office than go to the canteen. Unexpectedly, the other party would one day grab the lunchbox and compete with those students for food. It seems that Lee Kinson did not lie to her before, and the canteen has really improved a lot. Seeing the teachers in the office leaving one by one, Wen Jiu's impatience suddenly broke out. Just when she wanted to urge Lee Kinson, she saw the other party coming out of the warehouse. Let's go, I finished my work. Lee Kinson wiped her hands and walked towards her. I heard that the canteen has new dishes today. We have to hurry over. You don't know how fierce those students are in grabbing food. They run like rabbits for food. The other party took her out of the office and ran directly to the canteen. To be honest, she never thought that the canteen of 3047 College would be full one day. Students rushed to the food window, and there were also many teachers among them. Seeing this, Lee Kinson took her to find an empty seat to sit down, and then the other party went to the window alone to line up for food. So she sat down and waited. She also clicked on the light screen panel to take a few pictures and sent them to the teacher, who had worked at the 3047 Academy before. However, the other party seemed to be busy and did not reply to her immediately. After she was excited, she felt a little bored, so she took out a box of mooncakes from the Ziggy space, which was the fresh meat mooncakes she bought in TOIAO in the morning. There was a big moon pattern printed on the moon white gift box, and below it were the very eye-catching two words TOIAO, and there were many bright yellow osmanthus flowers on the side as embellishments. The packaging was very simple, but she was happy to see it. After looking at it for a while, she opened the box and saw 6 neatly arranged small boxes inside. So she opened one of the small boxes and took out the fresh meat mooncake hidden in it. The round fresh meat mooncake looked very cute, and the red words TOIAO were printed on the beige skin, adding a bit of joy to it. Wen Jiu decisively clicked on the light screen panel to take 2 pictures, and then took a bite of the fresh meat mooncake with expectation. The soft and crispy crust broke with a slight sound of crackling, and a lot of crumbs fell on the table in front of her. But she had no time to deal with it. She was just immersed in the sound of crackling, as if she was listening to the wonderful music in the opera house. The gravy in the fresh meat mooncake burst out instantly, and her mouth was immediately filled with the salty and fragrant breath. The soft meat filling burst out with a rich meaty aroma, and it didn't taste greasy at all, but very refreshing. The saltiness was moderate, mellow and fresh. The more she ate, the more addicted she felt, and she finished a whole fresh meat mooncake unknowingly. When she came to her senses, she saw Lee Kinson put the plate in front of her. "What delicious food are you eating?" The other party couldn't help but teased her. When she heard this, she smiled and handed over a fresh meat mooncake. "Come on, let me tell you, Teo Iao's fresh meat mooncake is really amazing." Chapter 1048 Fresh Meat Mooncake 3. Ren Jiu was mainly thinking about Lee Kinson treating her to lunch. Although a meal in the college cafeteria would not cost many star coins, it was enough for the other party to have such a thought. Anyway, she had a Teo Iao membership card, and she could go to Teo Iao to buy mooncakes later. So she gave Lee Kinson 2 mooncakes, which was also considered to be paying for today's lunch. She first put the remaining mooncakes into the ziggy space, and then looked at the plate in front of her. There were 3 full dishes on the plate, one of which seemed to be garlic water spinach, and she didn't know the other 2. Fortunately, Lee Kinson explained it very enthusiastically, and she knew what the other 2 dishes were. "Don't be too restrained. This spicy duck is also my first time to eat," the other party said, picking up the chopsticks. "No more talking. Let's eat quickly. If you eat fast and are not full, you can still add more ice. If you eat slowly, you can't even add more ice." Seeing this, Ren Jiu picked up the chopsticks and picked up a piece of duck meat. In fact, she didn't like duck meat. She always felt that duck meat had a fishy smell that would not disappear, no matter how she treated it. However, she saw that Lee Kinson and the students next to her were eating it very happily, so she took a bite of the duck meat out of curiosity, thinking that if it didn't taste good, she would just spit it out. However, the facts proved that she really thought too much. Although the spicy duck seemed ordinary, it was only fried with duck meat, spices, and chili peppers, and it looked indescribably brown, but it really shocked her when she ate it. The duck meat in her mouth not only had no fishy smell, but also had an extremely rich fragrance, which instantly aroused her greed. The perfect heat fried the duck meat until it was soft and rotten, not dry and hard to chew at all. The meat was plump and juicy, and it was especially suitable for eating with rice. The spicy aroma of the dried chili peppers melted into the duck meat, mixed with the fresh fragrance of the duck meat, stimulating her to keep secreting saliva. She thought that the cafeteria of the 3047 college would not improve much, even if it was improved. After all, the students were still the ones in charge of the cooking. She was very familiar with those students who were keen on dark cuisine. Most of them were students from poor families who had to make do with food. How could they know how to make delicious meals? So when she followed Lee Kinson here, she didn't have high expectations for the food in the cafeteria. But this spicy duck really gave her a big surprise. She ate the duck mouthful after mouthful, and even scooped some soup on the rice with a spoon, and continued to eat with the fragrant rice. "How is it? The food in our cafeteria is not bad." Lee Kinson had just finished her portion of spicy duck, and when she looked up, she saw Ren Jiu eating very devotedly. Seeing the other person like this, she felt a sense of pride. "I also have to thank Wen Jiu for helping the students in the cafeteria, even though he is not in the college. Otherwise, those students who have not fully learned to cook will probably turn the cafeteria food back to its previous miserable state." "Not bad, not bad." Ren Jiu took the time to reply her. "This spicy duck is so delicious. I have never eaten such delicious duck meat." Hearing this, she couldn't help but smile slightly and continue to eat. However, when she finished her meal, Ren Jiu beside her was still eating hard. So she took out the fresh meat mooncakes given by the other party, thinking of eating it as a dessert after the meal, and tasting it by the way. Although she was responsible for going to Teo Iao to pick up the mooncakes, she actually hasn't eaten Teo Iao's mooncakes. To be more specific, she hasn't even eaten Teo Iao's desserts. Although when Jiu gave her a membership card before, She has been busy with work and has never been to Teoiao. Therefore, this is her first time to go to Teoiao today, and it is also her first time to taste Teoiao's desserts. Thinking about it, Lee Kinson opened the outer moon white packaging box. The fresh meat mooncake inside was smooth and flat and looked like the steamed buns sold in the canteen before, but the color was a little darker than the steamed buns, and the dark red words Teoiao were printed on it. She remembered that Ruman had said before that the Teoiao signboard was designed by Wen Jiu. Even the two sharp characters that looked like a swimming dragon were written by Wen Jiu himself, and asked someone to carve them in imitation. So when she saw the red characters on the mooncake, she knew that this was the representative mark of Teoiao. After carefully observing it for a moment, she picked up the plump and lovely mooncake and took a bite with anticipation. The crispy outer skin cracked at the moment of contact with the teeth, and a pleasant slight click sound was made, and the strong meaty aroma lingered at the tip of her nose. The fresh and fragrant meat filling mixed with the crispy crust, and every chew could taste the full deliciousness. The more she ate, the more comfortable she felt, and she couldn't help shaking her head. No wonder so many people lined up to buy mooncakes. Even she couldn't resist the deliciousness of these mooncakes. She even wanted to rush back to the office building and take out the 2 boxes of mooncakes that belonged to her to eat as much as she wanted. You know, she really didn't like eating mooncakes before. She almost frowned when talking about mooncakes. Not to mention the dark mooncakes distributed by the cafeteria of 3047 College. What she was most reluctant to face was the winter melon mooncakes bought by her mother. It was very sweet and very hard. But her mother always said that this was the most authentic mooncake and she must eat this one during the Mid-Autumn Festival. TSK, I must take the mooncakes back to my hometown this year to let her know what the most authentic mooncakes are. Lee Kinson couldn't help but mutter while eating. There was no way. She had suffered from the critical attack of winter melon mooncakes for many years. So this year she must drive the winter melon mooncakes out of her house completely. Just as she finished eating 2 mooncakes, she saw Wen next to her also had enough. So the two put the tabler into the recycling bin and slowly walked back to the office building to continue chatting. Because they had a good relationship, they could talk about anything. As they chatted, they talked about the 11th military region. Hey, don't talk about Lieutenant Liang. I think he's crazy for cooperating with the 3rd military region. Wen Jiu frowned in dissatisfaction. If he hadn't betrayed and cooperated with the 3rd military region, my husband wouldn't have been implicated and demoted. Speaking of which, when I went to the garrison to visit my husband, I felt that Lieutenant Liang was not a good person. I didn't expect that he was such a sinister bad guy. Hearing this, Lee Kinson couldn't help but ask curiously, why didn't I know that you also have the ability to judge people's character by their faces? You were in the academy before. Before she finished her words, she was interrupted by Wen Jiu angrily. Oh, what's the point of talking about those trivial things? Let me continue to talk to you about Lieutenant Liang. My husband was injured on a mission at that time, and then I asked for leave to visit him at the garrison. As a result, I met Lieutenant Liang when I entered the station. He seemed to be talking to someone, and I followed him and eavesdropped on a few words. I heard him say that the goods had been delivered and the scrap would not be picked up until next month. I was full of questions at the time. You also know that our planet 3047 is very poor and there are not many things that can be exported. Where can the goods be delivered? Chapter 1049. You are not a demon 1. After Lee Kinson sent Wen Jiu away, she quickly got on the floating bus to the hospital. She wanted to talk to Huang Qiumei first, but she was not in the academy at the moment. So she rushed to the hospital to find Ruman, thinking that she would help her analyze it carefully. At the same time, she also sent a few messages to Wen Jiu, because many of the information she inquired from Wen Jiu were related to Dianyi Forest. Wen Jiu was the most important person involved, so she wanted to find him and ask what happened in Dianyi Forest at that time and what Lieutenant Liang did later. Unfortunately, Wen Jiu did not have time to reply to the message now because she was watching the fight between Beihu and Shenzing. I told you that she is not. Why don't you believe it? How could she not be? She has the breath of the demon clan, and she can also turn into a snow wolf. She has all the characteristics of the demon clan. How could she not be a demon clan? Don't try to deceive me. I saw a white tiger flexibly jumped onto the stone and avoided the crescent knife light swung by the tall man. How should I know? You should ask her. Behu dodged the attack and roared. It doesn't mean anything that she has the characteristics of a demon. Have you ever seen a demon that can only change into one appearance? As soon as he finished speaking, Shenzing struck down another crescent blade, almost cutting off his precious tiger hair. He was so angry that he rushed towards the other party, wanting to attack him to seek justice for himself. But Shenzing turned into smoke in an instant, causing him to fall heavily on the grass. He finally came out of the mountain once, but he was treated like this by the other party. The more he thought about it, the more wronged he felt. I want to go home. I quit. He turned into a human form and collapsed on the grass. You bastard did it on purpose. If you want to embarrass me, just say so. Don't make up excuses. Seeing this, Shenzing flew down with a cold face. I gave you a medium grade magic weapon. You are not allowed to leave before you have solved the problem. Of course, you can also choose to return the magic weapon, so you can leave however you want. I will never stop you. When Behu heard this, he sat up with a carp. You know, there are no weapon refiners these days, and a medium grade magic weapon is a rare treasure. So for the sake of the magic weapon, he injured it. So he looked at Wen Jiu with a bitter face. Come on, tell me what your parents are like. Maybe I can analyze some clues, so that I can confirm your bloodline. However, what he never expected was that the other party actually said to him, sorry, I'm an orphan. Point your child is an orphan? He slapped his face with his hands in despair. Then how can I analyze it for you? Or do you have relatives or something like that? Do they usually behave strangely? Hearing this, Wen Jiu just shook his head helplessly. I'm very sorry, I don't have any relatives. I'm afraid I can't provide you with any clues. If she knew the original owner's parents or relatives, she wouldn't have to keep investigating the original owner. She could find someone who knew the original owner to ask, and at least she could get 60% of the information. Unfortunately, the original owner's parents didn't appear in her memory at all, let alone the original owner's relatives and friends. Moreover, the original owner's memory was not complete, and she couldn't provide any clues to Behu. Oh, I'm really committing a sin. The other party collapsed again, as if he was playing tricks. Then I can only tell you one thing, your child is definitely not a demon. As soon as the voice fell, Shenzing on the side asked, Behu, she has the breath of a demon, and can turn into a snow wolf. How can she not be a demon? Behu clenched his fists after hearing this. I've told you 800 times, she can only change from a human to a wolf, and from a wolf to a human. She can't change into any other appearance. Have you ever seen a demon like this? We demons transform into humans according to what we want in our hearts, and once we change, we will always maintain this image, unless we want to change into another appearance in the middle of the process. Our external image will change. But she is different. Her appearance is always changing. You just heard what she said. She will grow up in the image of a human. Which demon have you ever seen grow up in human form? After we become humans, our appearance will not change with age. Whether we want to be a child or an old man depends on our thoughts. For example, the spider tribe's Zuanine spider. That woman is thousands of years old, but she turns into a little girl every day and provokes those little monsters everywhere. Another example is Tumaksu from the Jade Rabbit tribe, who is over 200 years old and whose hair hasn't even grown out yet, but likes to turn into the moonlight and breeze of Emperor Xiu, pretending to be as calm and relaxed as Emperor Xiu, but in fact, he is a little firecracker that explodes at the touch of a button. Shenzing listened to what Behu said and didn't know how to refute it for a while, because what the other party said was indeed right. Although Wen Jiu had the characteristics of the monster tribe, he did not have the abilities of the monster tribe. Take the most basic shaper shifting technique for example. Wen Jiu can change from a human to a wolf, or from a wolf to a human, but he can't change freely like other monster tribes. Moreover, the other party's appearance will change with age. You must know that the human form of the monster tribe will not change, only the main body will age with the passage of time. But he really didn't know why. He just didn't want to accept this result. Seeing that he remained silent, Behu sighed again. I know you think this is very strange, and I think it is very strange too. Speaking of which, she reminds me of the past. He interrupted him unhappily before he finished speaking. Since she is not a demon at all, how can she become a demon and still have the aura of a demon? Wait for me to finish speaking. Behu pounded the ground angrily, scaring the small animals resting nearby to run away without stopping. Seeing this, he quickly withdrew his hand and smiled awkwardly, as an apology to those small animals. Seeing that the small animals had stopped, he looked at the Mirage Galaxy and continued, speaking of which, this little girl reminded me of something. Do you remember that humans came to us a few years ago? At that time, humans always came to my demon tribe to ask how to change from human to demon, and how to change from demon to human. You also know that the demon tribe's shape changing technique is to comprehend it by themselves, so our demon tribe can't teach those humans at all. Then my demon tribe rejected those humans, but who knew that they would find your Kinkeo garden later. The third update has also been delivered on time. Thank you again to the little angels for your support. 030. Whispering. What's going on? What's going on? Don't be silly. Chapter 1050. You are not a demon too. Behu said that a group of humans had come to Kinkeo Garden before, and Shenzing and the people of the Jade Rabbit clan had received them. But he didn't know what happened later. Shenzing got angry and drove away the group of humans. The other party also added a ban to the formation of Kinkeo Garden, and no human could enter Kinkeo Garden from then on. This is very strange. Other humans can't come in, but this little girl can. He looked at Wen Jiu in confusion when he said this. Could it be that you really have the blood of the demon clan? Otherwise, how did you enter Kinkeo Garden? But after he finished speaking, he felt something was wrong. If Wen Jiu really had the blood of the demon clan, then the other party should be a half demon. He has lived for so many years and has seen half demons. Those half demons can activate their blood through cultivation, so as to master the art of shaper shifting and other spells. Wen Jiu can change from a human to a wolf, and from a wolf to a human, which can be regarded as activating the blood of the demon clan. But the other party still couldn't change their appearance by using the shaper shifting technique like the demons. He couldn't figure it out, and always felt that something was wrong. However, before Wen Jiu could answer him, Shenzing on the side asked in confusion, why don't I remember that humans have come to Kinkeo Garden before? I don't remember that I have added a restriction to the formation. That's because your son of a bitch has lost his memory. Behu pounded his crossed thighs in frustration. Oh, every time I talk about this, I feel very depressed. It's all my fault that I was too lazy to go out in Menghu Ridge. Otherwise you and DXIU wouldn't have been seriously injured. If your son of a bitch hadn't been injured, he wouldn't be in such a mess now. And DXIU, he's a scum with a combat power of only 5. Why did he think of fighting? Now he's fine. He beat himself to death. He didn't know what happened in Kinkeo Garden that year. He only knew that Shenzing and DXIU were both injured at that time. At first, he thought that Shenzing's injury was more serious, so he took out his treasured elixir, which allowed him to hold on and save his life. However, it didn't take long before the news came that DXIU suddenly fell into a deep sleep. He realized that the other party's injury was much more serious than Shenzing's, and he was just holding on to his consciousness to protect the monsters in Kinkeo Garden. But he didn't have many elixirs to save DXIU, and he couldn't find any way after searching for all the big monsters. In the end, it was because Bezer gave him a prophecy that he felt at ease to return to Menghu Ridge and continue to be his Tiger King. But since then, Shenzing's memory has been problematic. Not to mention that his memory is not as good as before. There are many things that he has forgotten. For example, how he was injured in the first place, why DXIU suddenly fell into a deep sleep, what those humans did, etc. All of which were completely forgotten by Shenzing. Because he always remembered the prophecy left by Bezer, he didn't remind Shenzing of the previous things. Anyway, Bezer had told him that Shenzing would regain his memory sooner or later, so he didn't bother to worry about it. He was just a white tiger who loved to sleep, so it was better for him to stay away from these worldly disputes. Oh, my temper flared up all of a sudden. Behu realized what he had said at this moment and quickly made up for it. Forget it. Let's not talk about unhappy things. Let's talk about this little girl. If he hadn't been thinking about finding out why Wen Jiu could turn into a wolf, he wouldn't have mentioned the unpleasant things that happened back then inadvertently. The more he thought about it, the more irritated he felt, so he thought about changing the subject. However, Shenzing did not give him this opportunity. Tell me first, when did those humans come to Kinkeo Garden? Do you have any impression of those humans? If I had known, I would not have come with you. He sat cross-legged in depression. Even his ears drooped down. I can't remember when it happened. Anyway, it was more than 100 or 200 years ago. It hasn't been that long. As for those humans, I only saw them once, and I really don't have any impression. In his eyes, humans all have two eyes, a nose and a mouth, no difference. Hearing this, Wen Jiu couldn't help but fall into deep thought. How could it be more than 100 years ago again? She seemed to have heard this time point several times. She remembered that Tu Marxu mentioned it once before. Yes, Tu Marxu said that the fourth elder would tell stories to the little rabbits, or the story of humans catching little rabbits for experiments. And the fourth elder happened to tell this story to Tu Marxu, who had just learned to transform more than 100 years ago. That is to say, the fourth elder more than 100 years ago most likely saw those humans who came to visit. Combined with what Behu just said about those humans being driven out of the green grass garden, she felt that the story that the fourth elder told Tu Marxu was very likely true. Thinking of this, she looked at Shenzing excitedly. I know. We can go find the fourth elder. What? Are you talking about the fourth elder of the Jade Rabbit clan? It was not Shenzing who answered her, but the extremely depressed Behu. Why are you looking for that old stubborn? His temper is even weirder than Shenzing. As soon as he sees me, his face turns black, as if I owe him money. Hearing this, she told him her previous conjecture, which reduced the other party's depression. However, Behu's depression did not disappear, but shifted to Shenzing's face. I saw that the smoke lingering around Shenzing became a little grey at this time. Although he was also troubled by amnesia in the past, he had never hated the fact that he had lost his memory as much as he did today. The main reason was that before Behu told him those things, he didn't know that the Xiu was also injured, and he didn't know that humans had come to Kinkeo Garden. He actually forgot all these important things, which made him suddenly feel a little confused. If he didn't find Behu today, how long would he continue in this state? Although Behu just explained the reason to him, he still felt an indescribable discomfort. Forget it, his eyes couldn't help but show a trace of fatigue. In this case, then find the fourth elder and ask him. It just so happens that I also want to know what happened 100 years ago. After he finished speaking, he separated a wisp of consciousness to find the elder in the territory of the Jade Rabbit clan. Seeing this, Wen Jiu just turned his eyes away and looked at the Xiu not far away. She still remembered that when she came here last time, she inexplicably received a leaf from the Xiu. But the Xiu was still in a sleeping state. How did he give the leaf to her? Besides, she had the unclear demon bloodline in her body, and there was the strange story told by the fourth elder, and the sudden appearance of the 13th military region. She came to the desolate planet to do business and seek comfort, but how come she was involved in endless troubles again? Can she really realize her dream of becoming the richest person with a lot of money? Will she die before that, because she knows too much? You know, whether in novels or movies, the person who knows the most dies the fastest. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.